Yeah, they're
Yeah.
starting it
So
right now.
Oh, okay.
my bad. I'm sorry. I thought we were.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I
Okay.
like the
Thank you.
spontaneous thing at the
Yeah,
beginning.
that's
Okay.
totally me. Hi,
All right.
everybody. Welcome to my live. I'm welcoming my guest, Nobody Jane. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate
Okay.
you. It's gonna be a great conversation. So
Yeah.
I really just want to set my intention, and I just want this conversation to be about us as mulatto, coming from a mulatto biracial perspective, and us healing and reconnecting and finding self love with our white side and our white community. That's my intention here, because we see it on the internet. Like, that's the main narrative about mixed biracial people who are white and black, is like, oh, my mother was racist to me, and I that's so heavy. That's like the main thing that people are speaking up against, and it's something
Mhm.
that we need to address and we need to heal. I know Nobody Jane, she's not a child. She doesn't have biracial children. I would
Mhm.
love to speak to anybody with but at the same time, I think it's important to, like, you're somebody who is willing and open about
Right.
having these types of conversations, who just wants to, learn about things and learn a different perspective. So I'm just grateful that, you're willing to come on here, and so we could just talk about, things that are dividing us, and how
Right.
we could, like, figure out if, like, because for us it's very important, because let me tell you a little bit about me. So I was raised, like, I was telling you before, I was raised in, like, a white community, and it's like, it's weird always being like an outsider looking in type of thing. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? It's like, and I felt that way kind of like about the black community too. Of course, you got like people, individuals you cool with. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I've had great experiences on both sides, because I lived in Atlanta for 10 years, and I was only around the black community for 10 years, and there was like
Mhm.
great, amazing people on both sides. And of course, there's always negative and positive in both. So I
Right.
feel like when it comes to like our white side, it's like we're only told negative things about it, like, the racism, the slavery, the lynching, the all of the horrible negative history. It's like that's what we think of when we think of whiteness. It's like, oh, we don't want to accept that. We don't want to accept
Right.
our side of that, because it's like it's such a negative, horrible history, and it
Mhm.
causes self hate, because it does cause self hate. Because I've been there. I'm speaking from experience. I used to be super pro black. I used to hate my white side. I used to hate myself. And then guess
Right.
what? I had a son. He came out white. He came out white passing. Like, if you look at my son,
Yeah.
he, he looked like a little white boy. He like
You're like,
me
oh
and my
shit. Now what
oh
do I do? What do I
shit.
do now? What do I do
That's
with
what
this little
happened.
honky?
Yeah. I was like, oh shit. So it's like, what I look like, fuck, I look like sitting here hating people that look like my son. I had to. I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe God is
Yeah.
always trying to lead us back to love, and
Mhm.
always trying to lead us back, always trying to make us find forgiveness somehow. But I just think that it's so important, and I just want to have that conversation with you. Like, how was
Mhm.
your journey? You as like a white person, you've been
Yeah.
doing this work of like trying to fight like race. The
Right.
history. You know what's been going on. So how did you find self love in that? Because I know so many biracial people deal with this. They deal with like self hate because of the
Right.
history and the
Right.
tension. So how did you find self love, even knowing, like, you know?
So I have so many biracial, black, Hispanic, so many different groups of people in my life, and I've been raised around those people my whole life. And
Mhm.
it wasn't something that I had to learn. Those people
Mhm.
taught me that
That's good.
it's not
That's
about
cool.
me. It's how it that none of that history mattered. You know, it was about how we
Mm.
were. We're family. We're it's love
Yeah.
here, you know.
I
And
love that,
so
yeah.
it wasn't white people that taught me that, or any, it was the people that were of color in my life that taught me
Mhm.
that it doesn't matter what color I am, and that, you
Mm.
know, there's nothing but love here. And so when you have
Mhm.
that type of experience with people of color, you automatically go out into the world and see everybody through the eyes of your loved ones. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a black
Mhm.
person and think
Mhm.
of a bad experience I had, and now all of a sudden that black person carries the weight of that, or the Hispanic people or biracial
That's
people.
how it starts.
I
That's
see
how
them.
racism starts.
Right, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. If you have a bad
Mhm.
experience with a white woman, you're it
You
and
think all of them.
it hits you. Now all of a sudden
Mhm.
you're going to be leery of all white women. If you have a
Yep.
bad experience with a black man, you're going to
Yep.
feel some kind of way when you see
Facts.
a black man until you feel comfortable.
Mhm.
And that's just human
Yeah.
nature. But
Facts.
the problem
Mhm.
with white people is that they're not going to try to build a bridge. They may not even have a
Mm.
rift with you or beef with you. They're just not going to
Mm.
try. They're
Yeah.
already like,
Mhm.
well, they think I'm racist. This is going to turn into a lawsuit or this is going to turn into a problem. So fuck
Mm.
it. I'll just stay away. And they're not
Mhm.
going to try. They're not going to reach out.
Wow.
And I'll tell you,
Mm.
when I first started this whole situation, I was told to shut the fuck up. It's not a conversation. I'm racist. I need to just stay in my lane.
Mhm.
Black people, biracial people, nobody wanted me in it. And I didn't need
Mhm.
to ask questions because it's not their job to teach me. And I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. It's not my job. It's not your job to teach me, but I'm
Mhm.
not obligated to know. It's not
Right.
my job
Mhm.
to know the history of things that didn't happen to me. I didn't do. I want to
Yeah.
know because I see the world moving in a different direction than my family and the black people and
Mhm.
biracial people in my life. And
Wow.
how I got
Mm.
caught on the biracial topic is I saw a video, I think of Cynthia G's, where they were talking
Talk
about
about biracial people.
and
Mhm.
talking about biracial people and talking about white mothers and how they abuse and be racist to their black or biracial children
Mm. Mhm.
because of that. And I said, no, that's not a thing. A white mother can
Mhm.
be a shitty mother across the board, just like any other
Mhm.
mother. She's going to treat her biracial children just as shitty as she treats her white kids or her black kids. She's just a shitty mother. It has nothing.
Mhm.
Now, granted, there's probably some white women out there who are racist against their kids.
Mhm.
I can't wrap my mind around that because
Isn't
it's
that
like,
crazy?
why would you
Mhm.
sleep with a black man if you don't like black people? That's some sick shit, and that's her
Yeah.
problem. But that's not the majority. And the thing
Right.
is that a white mother is going to feel a certain way, like she's she's going to treat her kids however she wants to treat them, and she doesn't care about the social things that a child that is perceiving the world through different eyes than a white person. We don't
Right.
have a sense of community within all white people.
Mhm.
We don't
Exactly.
feel a social responsibility for anything other than what we have
Mm.
going on around us. And so
Right.
when you have a biracial child who has that mixed heritage and that mixed experience, and their mother
Mhm.
just doesn't have that. It's just
Mhm.
we as white people don't have that. We don't have that.
Mhm.
And so they
Mhm.
feel shunned by that, or they feel like we're
Mm.
less flavorful. My personal opinion, and I hope I don't make people upset, but my personal opinion is a lot of biracial children who hate their white
Mhm.
mothers, who their mothers are not pieces of work. I
Mhm.
think it feels to me like they don't necessarily hate their mother. They just don't want to be white. They're embarrassed by their white
Exactly.
parents.
I've
They
been
don't
there. I've been
yeah,
there.
they
Mhm.
don't feel like they have the richness and the culture and the vibe, and it
Mhm.
feels empty. And
Mhm.
I mean,
Yep.
I know people hate it, but it's like black people, biracial people, Hispanic people, there's a richness
The
in who
culture.
they
Mhm.
are as individuals, and it's not about the community, it's just who you
Mhm.
are. You just
Mhm.
move differently than most
Mhm.
people. And so when you have a white parent who is,
Mhm.
Magoo, it's not cool. You're
I
just like,
felt
fuck.
that. You're
It's
talking about my life
embarrassing,
right now.
right? Like it's
Yeah, that's
embarrassing.
my life.
Everybody's
Mhm.
embarrassed by their parents, but when you have your mom coming in her weird tracksuit and
Mhm.
bringing cookies, it's just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, come on,
Yeah.
you
No,
know.
that's my dad. No, that's my dad because I'm one of the like rare ones. I got a black mom and then my dad's white. But he was so embarrassing to me. I was like, oh my
Right?
god, because my mom is so like she was a model, like she was beautiful,
Yeah.
and then my dad's like this nerdy, super hippie like white guy. Like it was
Mhm.
really crazy, but
Yeah.
he was so embarrassing to me. But I want to have my dad passed away
Oh, I'm
last year,
sorry.
right?
I'm sorry.
Poor I haven't seen him, like, I don't know, I just wanna have this conversation because it's like, I wish he died on the way to come see me, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
he didn't make it up here, like, and he was in California, he was on his way to come see us, he did not make it up here, And I just wish that, I could have had more conversations with him about it, because it's
Right.
like I just know that God is real, because it's like I used to be so hateful, because look, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. This is why so many on top of that, not just even being embarrassed and not feeling cool or whatever. On top of that, it's like you okay, like 20s ish. A lot of us go through this. You go and you learn the history. You learn about the slave. You
Mhm.
learn about Tulsa, Oklahoma being bombed. You learn about all of these you learn about alligators, like the baby,
Yeah.
like all of these like sick, horrible, twisted shit. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God. It's like if I accept my side, if I accept my white side, it's like I'm accepting what they did to black people,
But your
even though, you know what
dad
I'm
didn't do
saying?
that. Yeah. And see,
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
regardless of how
And
your
I don't
parents' relationship may have turned out or how
mhm,
things went, at one
mhm.
point, your father was absolutely in love with
Never,
your
no.
mother.
Exactly. I
You
love
know what I'm
like
saying? Like,
mhm.
and it wasn't because of any other reason than he vibed with her, he was attracted to
Yeah.
her, she was what he wanted, and he created
Mhm.
life with her. You don't do that
Exactly.
if you're a racist.
Exactly.
You don't do
Facts.
that if you're out doing shit to black people. You're not going to
Mhm.
mix and mingle like that. You
Mhm.
may be on the down low, but you're not going to go and marry somebody or have a baby with somebody if I know a
Mhm.
white man won't. If
Mhm.
you don't have an appreciation for that black woman, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's to me, I don't, I think as a kid, I could have felt that way. I could have been like, well, because I had beef with my parents and I had things that I felt they should have done better. I had,
Mhm.
you give them a report card and they could have
Mhm.
done this and they could have done that. But I couldn't imagine feeling like one piece of me is a victim of the other piece of me.
Exactly. It's so hard, and it's
It's
like
confusing. And the world is telling
so
you you
hard.
have to feel that way.
And I have to
It's
mhm.
not your lived experience in your home. Your
Mhm.
parents
No,
are
in my
your
home, they
parents
were
and they
married.
Mhm.
They loved
and
me.
and
Yeah.
parents mess up all the time and do whatever, but
Yeah.
I can assure you it's not because you were brown and your dad was white. It's hard to
Mhm.
be a parent. Now you're a parent. You say the wrong
Mhm.
shit, you do the wrong shit.
Mhm.
You're stumbling through it at best. And
Yeah, and
and when the
I'm
society is convincing your child that you're the enemy before you ever did anything wrong, and then you make mistakes as a parent, now all of a sudden it's just, if I had a biracial child that said some of
mhm.
the things to me that I have heard on TikTok,
Isn't that
I
sad?
I would knock their teeth out. I'd be like, how could you? How could you hate me
It's
when I've
sad.
loved
I
you
hate
so
to see
much?
it.
It's
I don't like
sad,
it.
but
It
it's
needs to stop.
society creating this rift
It is.
between a child
Mhm.
and my
And the
kids are all
parent.
white. My kids are all white,
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
they they have their my boys have their beef with me. They got their beef with
Yeah.
me,
Mhm.
and there's nothing I can do about that other than accept responsibility for the shit that I did wrong, and
Mhm.
and and try to build a bridge. But it is what it
Mhm.
is. But it has nothing to do with your mother or father not loving you
Exactly.
wholeheartedly because you're
Mhm.
their baby. Like you're their
Mhm.
baby. It's not a thing. So when I heard that white women would do that, yeah, there's probably some out there because Cynthia G showcases some real pieces of shit
Ew.
on there. Some of those
I'm
white
telling you.
women, they need to get some hood justice for real. But
Mhm.
at the end, but at the end of the day, not all white women who marry or
No,
have sex
I
with black men are like that.
no.
You
Absolutely
know,
not. Absolutely not. No.
but you probably have a way better experience because you have a black mother. And mothers are
My
the
mom.
cornerstone of who we
I
are.
love my
Like your
mom. I
mother,
love her.
yeah, but your mother teaches you who you are. Like I've said this in my
No,
videos.
man, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. So,
Mm,
my mom worked her at like this is a common experience with black mothers is that, my mom and dad they divorced when I was 10, she was just out working she was hustling, like she was
Yeah.
working, like she wasn't
Yeah.
around to teach us nothing. Like she was working, like
Well, she
she was
did teach
working.
you. She
She had
taught you
like
how to
three
work your
kids.
butt off and sacrifice for
Yeah,
her
there we
babies.
go.
But,
Facts, there we go.
yes, and we
Mhm.
try now. Like, I missed a lot of my kids' in life because
All
I
of them is
wanted
bad,
them
yeah.
to have everything that I didn't have. I grew up poor
Mhm.
and I wasn't going to let my kids grow that way. And I had a partner the whole way through it. And I still
Mhm.
struggled with making my balance of time. But I
Mhm.
tell everybody, I teach my kids where we come from. I've taught my
Mhm.
kids who they are and where they come from. My husband
That's
always
good.
taught them where they're going. And
Mhm.
that is a dynamic of mothers and fathers in the home. And
Mhm.
your
It's so
mother
important.
teaches you, yeah, your mother puts your roots in the soil and your
Mhm. For
father helps
sure.
you grow towards the sun. And that is the
Absolutely. Love
dynamic,
that.
but at
Mhm.
the
It's
end
so
of the day,
important.
and that's why children in single parent homes with mothers
Mhm.
struggle because they've got the good roots, they've got the roots in the
Mhm.
soil, but they don't know how to reach, you know
Right, right. I
there's a
agree
la-
with you.
there's a lack of
Mhm.
direction for their future once they don't need their mommy anymore, and it's
Mhm.
hard because a father
Mhm.
is the one that teaches you, this is where you want to go, this is where you point
Mhm.
your star, so I don't know,
Yeah,
that topic bothered me, and that's
I
how I
love
got
it.
involved
Mhm.
in the biracial
Right. I'm happy you
topic.
have. It's important. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy you got involved here. And
Yeah.
I'm about that. I'm about healing. We need to forgive our parents. They're not
Mhm.
perfect. Like we need to forgive and learn to love so we could love ourselves.
So you
It's
can
about
love
self-love.
yourself. And that's the
That's
thing.
what
I
I do.
mean, I
Mhm.
was so taken back by biracials saying, well, we need our own space. We need our own this. And I'm like, God
I
damn
remember
it.
that. I
Like,
remember. Mhm.
why do you want to separate? And all of
Mhm.
these black women channels were saying that white people don't want you. White people ain't going to
Mhm.
let you take part in their whiteness. They don't want you. They'll tell you you're
Mhm.
black. No, white
Mhm.
people will see you with their eyes first. And if you look
Mhm.
Hispanic, we'll assume you're Hispanic. If you
Mhm.
look black, we'll assume you're
Mhm.
black. And that's
Mhm.
just because we see you. We don't know you. And we will
Yeah.
see you and treat you as such until we are told
Mhm.
differently. And that's
Mhm.
it. It's not
Mm.
about, well, you're darker than me, so you must be black. It's not that we don't
Mhm.
want you to have your own space. And it's not that we
Mhm.
wouldn't accept you as white, because we do,
Mhm.
but you don't want that.
Mm.
I haven't
Really?
met I haven't met one biracial person that would say, well, I'm white.
No.
It's always all
Never.
biracials will
Because
either say
let's
I'm black or I'm
I'm telling
biracial.
you,
No one will
look,
say I'm
this is
white.
why. Look, this is okay because we have a very like I want to tell you in America we have a very unique dynamic as biracial mixed people because like over in the UK or in Dominican Republic or other places where mixed identity is so accepted, but here in America it's
Mhm,
such like a racial since like because of like white supremacy setting up like this racial
mhm,
hierarchy. It was like
mhm,
such a racial binary system. It's like it's either white or since the one drop rule came into place and now that I was learning, there was like a religious component to it, saying
mhm.
like, oh, it's only white people are pure, and if you're a little bit tainted, you're not one of us, and you can't be white. So it's like you have to be black. You have to.
Yeah,
So there's this racial binary system in America that doesn't exist in other countries and other places. View race totally different than us.
right.
Like our view of race is so crazy, and it hurts biracial people so much because it's like we're not allowed to exist. We always have to pick a side because
Yeah,
and this is why most of us identify as black because it's like, oh, well, you're gonna be viewed as black, so you're one drop rule,
yeah.
like all these different social dynamics. Because it's like you can't just be both; you got to be one or the other, right?
Mhm,
So a lot of biracial people they view as black, and then we start to look at white people from the black perspective of like this is my
mhm,
enemy,
mhm.
and it's like how do we be our enemy even though we half white ourselves?
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to. This is the conversation I'm trying to have. I'm
But
trying to wait when you no
go
wait
ahead.
hold on like when you have like what you were saying about like there's a culture, there's a richness when it comes to like blackness or
Mhm,
being a Latino or
mhm,
being like another culture.
mhm,
That's what I want to deprogram my mind of like me viewing whiteness as just as evil. You're an enemy. You're just
mhm,
you're just the devil. You're just horrible. Because that's how I was kind of
mhm.
programmed to view being in like pro black spaces and stuff like
Right.
that. And it's like it made me like I'm just a cancer and it made me view myself like that. Like, oh, I'm just like this horrible and it made me feel have self
Yeah.
hate and self hate. So what I'm
Right.
saying. so I really want this conversation to be about how do we redefine how we view whiteness? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I am very connected to my blackness
You
and
need
I'm
to
very
hang out with
connected.
some ghetto ass trash white
Uh,
people, and you're gonna feel real good about yourself.
ah, but
No,
right, there's so many.
the thing
Mhm,
is that I mean, I hate to say this because I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit about it, but this is
mhm.
all self-inflicted. White people are not
Self-inflicted.
thinking about this. They don't
Right.
care. The
They
majority
don't
of white
care.
people. There's some
They
messed up
don't.
white people out there, and I get it. There's some messed up white, but I'm sure I can assure you, those messed up white people are doing the same thing to other white people. They're not
Yeah,
discriminating. They'll treat it.
right.
Hate is hate, and they'll be
Hate is
shitty.
hate.
An evil heart is an evil heart. So
I agree.
they'll just find things that you're insecure about and fuck with you. It's not about
Mm.
anything other than if they can see that you're upset, if you're a little sensitive about being black or biracial, they'll pick it.
They'll
They'll
pick
pick that
at
scab.
it.
And with me, they'll be like,
Mm.
bitch, you're ghetto. You talk
Mhm.
uneducated. They'll find something. But at the most, white people are not concerned. They are not
Not
thinking about
very.
it. They're not involved. If you speak to them, they'll speak to you. It's not a
Mhm.
thing. The
Right.
thing is that more white people need to start speaking up when they hear ignorance. Like I told that story about that dude at
I
my
love
work.
that.
He's
Yeah,
an
it was a good
old dude
story.
who's just been spouting off at the mouth, and he's said stupid shit to everybody
Mhm.
that was inappropriate and not fit for the office. But and so you just assume, well, he says that shit to me, so why should I stand? But to me, now that I get it, I'm not worried about, he doesn't hurt my feelings. He can't hurt my feelings. He means nothing to me. But to her,
Mhm.
she was intimidated. She was upset by that, but she felt uncomfortable to say anything. And that's the difference. It's not about what, like for me, I was like, well, if he said that to me, I wouldn't be bothered. So he didn't mean no harm. That's how I used to be. And now it's
Mm.
like, it's
Mhm.
not about how I feel about it. It's not whether it would hurt my
It
feelings.
came
It's not
from
about if
different.
it would offend me. And it doesn't
Mhm.
matter what he meant. It's how
Right.
it made her feel. And the fact that
Mhm.
she felt like she's coming from a place of lower standards. She couldn't address it or deal with it. And she's from HR. She could have
Mhm.
stopped him right then and there and put him in his place. But she doesn't want to seem like the angry black girl. And
Mm.
she didn't. And so that's
Mm.
what white people need to now start doing. Stop
It's
turning
just
a
about.
blind eye.
Yeah, it's just about look, like I love what you said earlier. It's like this is the problem with white people that they don't want to reach out and build the bridge. They would just
Mhm.
leave it alone and just be like, well, kind of just like give up about it and
Yeah.
like go about their merry way because they have the option. But it's like that's what I'm about. I'm trying to build these bridges. That's why I reached out to you. You know, I'm trying to just build bridges so we can
Yeah.
have you could
We
see
have
things
to.
from another person's perspective, and it's
Yeah.
not only like your own perspective. You could like so that's what it's about. So from my perspective, this is how I feel as like a biracial person. It's like I always felt like I had to be like a mediator or like a referee or like I
Mhm.
see these it's hard being of two different communities that are like they've been at war with
Yeah.
each other like in America, right? And it's like I just want to
They're
bring
not at
peace.
war. The
They're not at
problem
war.
is we're
They're
not at
not.
war. White people are avoiding this whole thing. They
They're
don't want
avoiding
it.
it.
They
They're
don't want
totally
to
avoiding
be
it.
involved.
They
They're
don't want to
like,
be
fuck
involved.
it. If you think I'm a racist, you think I'm a bigot, cool. Stay the fuck
Mhm.
away from me. I'll stay away from you.
Mm.
It's all good.
Mhm.
They
See, this is
and this
why.
whole George Floyd thing has made this
Mhm.
whole racist thing such
Mhm.
so over that now white people are like, fuck it, call me a racist. Whereas before
Mhm.
you call a white person a racist, they'd get worried. They'd be like, they'd try to defend themselves. They'd try to tell you they're not, and they'd make it 10 times worse. I've seen it happen. Now they're like, fuck it. White
Mhm.
women are
They
now
don't care.
starting to be okay
It's
with
like
being called a Karen. If you remember,
mhm.
it was a big, like, women would freak out. Oh, yeah, they're calling me a Karen. Now they're
They're
like,
just
fuck
like
it,
whatever. I don't
I'm a
mean
Karen.
nothing.
I'm a Karen.
It's been
That's
it's
fine.
been it's been overused basically, like, you just saying it
Yeah,
at every little thing
yeah.
basically, and
So
it's
now it's
like
okay to be a Karen. Now
but,
it's
you know,
okay to
I
be a racist. And they're like,
mhm.
fuck it, stay in your corner. I'll stay in mine.
Look, but I
Look,
feel like I'm saying, like, since biracial people identified as Black for so long, we take on,
hmm
like, a Black perspective on things, and in the
yeah.
Black community and in pro-Black spaces
And
especially, they look at white
you'll get
people
lumped
as, like,
into
the
it.
enemy,
hmm
right? So it's good to hear like from a white perspective because they're making so many assumptions about white people. White people are doing this. White people are this. We're white. There's like an obsession with white people, and where they're
Yeah.
obsessed about like
White
where do they come
people
from and what are they doing? It's an
white
obsession.
people
It's
won't
crazy.
even
And
white people won't even talk about black people in spaces where there's just white people. I
mm,
have tried to
that's
start
crazy.
it is. I've tried to start
They ain't even
conversations about it.
talking about
They'll
it.
get babe, I think we have something on the stove. We gotta go. Nice for having us over. We gotta go. I've cleared rooms out just asking questions.
Wow,
And they're
that's
safe.
crazy.
They're in a room full of white people and they won't even talk about it.
They're not comfortable. That's what
They're
I'm
not
saying. I'm
comfortable
so
because
happy
they're like,
that you're
fuck it.
open to talk about it. That's
Yeah.
why I'm so happy you're on my platform because it's like, yeah, it's an uncomfortable thing, and that's why I feel like it's weird being biracial because it's like I have to address like I'm two different
Yeah.
races. You know,
You're right in there.
it's like it's hard to I can't just you
And
know
it's
this little
not a
colorblind thing. Like
yeah,
oh you can't I'm just
you
gotta
can't.
ignore
You
I can't
won't.
do that. I
You
can't
won't.
ever do that. Like it's impossible for me. I go to one side of my family, they're a whole different. They're it's like the two complete opposites, right? It's
Yeah.
like they're everybody's the same, but you know what I noticed as a
Yeah.
biracial person too?
Hmm.
It's like everybody's the same. They just do things in different ways, right? That's
Hmm.
what I really see. I
Hmm.
do view people as there's races. There black people can be. I don't care.
Oh,
I
I
think black
have
people
some
can be
friends that
racist.
are so racist
I
against
don't
other
care.
black people. It's so crazy to me.
I
I'm
see
just
white
like, you're
people, they can
joking,
be
right?
racist. It's the same shit. Like
Yeah.
I view them as human beings. Like we're both all there's. I see it's cute because I remember I was living like all around white people, and then I moved to Atlanta when I was 16. It's like I swear I met like black versions of my white friends. It was so cute.
Yeah.
It was like it's so
It's a
cute.
thing. We
It's a
are the
thing.
same. We are the same. We may dress
There is.
differently, we may eat differently, but we have the same experiences. We really do. There may be a little bit of difference where you view something that happened to you very differently because of the color of your skin, but
Mhm.
chances are it had nothing to do with the color of your skin. But you will never
Mhm.
see that. You will never believe that. You and I have probably experienced so many of the same things, and and for you it was about your biracialness, and for
There's
me
always
it
something
was
in common.
and for me
Mhm.
it was because I was uneducated, or I talk differently, or I have tattoos. There's always something other than. And my husband will tell me, maybe they just don't like you.
Some
Maybe it
people just
has
don't like you, right? That's how it
my
be.
husband's like,
So,
maybe it has nothing to do with your education or your tattoos. Maybe they just don't like you, and
yep.
that's okay.
That's
And I'm like,
okay.
nope,
Shit.
it's because I'm ghetto. Couldn't possibly be that they don't like me. I'm amazing. That's the kind
Mhm.
of shit that goes through my head. I'm like, no, I'm amazing, and it's not me, it's
Mhm.
them. And my husband's like, no, honey, they just don't like you, and that's okay.
I do.
It
Mhm.
and
I
it's
agree
hard
with
to feel.
you.
It's hard to accept that.
Mhm. My
It's
daughter.
hard to accept
Uh-oh.
it, you know. But I,
Mhm.
I just think that, like, for me, I've learned so much in the space that I'm in,
Mhm.
because I pushed my way through the door. I'm talking for months. I was being berated, like
Mhm.
berated, being told that I'm just a white bitch. I don't need to be speaking. Da da da
Mm.
da da. This is not your topic. Why are you in black people's business? Who are you to talk about
Mhm.
that? And I just and a lot was like, oh, you're just here trying to steal the black people's coin. So basically, they thought I was getting all these subscribers. I was going to monetize my channel, and then I was going to pander, or I was going to use the shit talking to get money. And I'm like, I will never monetize my channel because I don't want to have to censor myself. I want to be able to
Mhm.
speak freely and say whatever I want, and so I won't monetize my channel. This is not a thing. And I had to
Yeah.
build that trust, and now I have a community of people that watch my videos, don't agree with me most of the time, but they take the
Mhm.
time now to educate me, tell me their
Mhm.
experiences, support me when I'm crying about something that has nothing to do with race. I'm just crying because I'm having problems with my kids, or I'm having problems in my family. They're the first ones in my comment section to support me and stand
That's
by me
good.
and tell me their experience.
That's what
We
I love that.
we finally got into a space now where they look at me as a human being, a mother, a woman, and not
Mhm.
a white woman. But it took a
Yeah.
long time. And so
Mm.
I don't know. It's a beautiful place to be, and it's made me grow so much, not just in the race topic, but just as a woman.
Mhm.
I have a lot more respect for women in general. And because I've never had to be a single mother, I've never had to do certain things that most women of every color has had to go through. I've never had a lot of respect for women who went to college and spent all kinds of money when they could have done this or done that. Like I've always been like,
Mhm.
well, my way's the right way, and
Mhm.
it worked for me, and I don't want to hear
Right.
anybody else's side. And now
Mm.
I've grown in a way that I can appreciate and understand that there's so many different ways to get to the end, and
Mhm.
we're all living a unique experience, and it really doesn't have much to do with race unless we make
Mhm.
it. And I
Yeah, and
know,
it's like I think that you had to like there's like this image like people like I said a lot of people view whiteness as like antagonistic. It's like this is
mhm,
an enemy to me,
yeah,
right? It's like that's what people have been taught. That's what people have been told. And I feel like biracial people deal with that too. It's like we have to
mhm,
deal with those negative stereotypes too. Like I see somebody say, "Oh, you're gonna get tested if you're in black spaces if you're gonna bring white supremacy in our space." Like I was like,
yeah,
"What?" Like that's crazy to
mhm,
me. Like we're gonna get tested based on the fact that we're half white.
mhm.
And it's like we have to tear down that like idea of what
Yeah,
whiteness is because people
yes.
think whiteness is like, the devil and
Well,
it's just
you've been
colonization,
touched by the devil, so
colon
now
yeah,
you can't be
it's all
trusted.
of that. And it's like we have to tear that down to get to your humanity and who you are as a
Mhm.
person. And I love what you were saying about it's like we got to focus on who we are as people today, right now. Like that's
Yeah,
the most important thing is
yeah.
right now and who we are and how we're building our character. What are we doing to help
Mhm.
people and what are we doing to learn from our mistakes? Like that's the most important thing is right now. We can't do nothing about the
Yeah,
past. We
we
can't
can't
change it.
fix
We
it.
can't sit here. We can't fix it. So it makes no sense to sit here and dwell on it. It makes no sense to
Yeah,
sit here and feel down about it because I've done that. It's like there's nothing I can do. I can't sit here and just feel sad about the past. I do
yeah.
feel the pain and the hurt, but it's like at the same time I gotta really do focus on like what's going on right now and making sure that
We
And
need to
this is
understand history because if
mhm
you don't understand it and you don't know it, you will repeat it. But what the
mhm
main message needs to be is that you, as a Black person or biracial person, have no shame in
mhm
anything that's ever happened, and I have no blame. We are
mhm
starting from a place right here.
yeah,
And what
that's what we
we
gotta
do
think.
with that right now and how
Yeah,
we interact with each other right now is what's important. Not
and I
just to
agree.
us, but to our children, our grandchildren, and everybody
I
going
agree with that.
forward. You have no
Mhm.
shame. You didn't you weren't in that. And I have no
Exactly.
blame. I didn't do
Yeah,
it. And I'm
exactly.
responsible for the words and the actions that come out of my mouth. And if I offend you, you're responsible for saying that's unacceptable. And
I
how
agree.
I receive that and how I answer that lets you know whether or not you want me in your life. And
Mhm.
if I don't answer it sufficiently, you don't have to fuck with me.
Mhm.
Period.
Uh-huh.
You have that choice.
Right.
You have that freedom, and I have that. We we you have to see people for who they are and the actions that they take. And if they make you feel good, then they're good. If they make you feel
Mhm.
bad, fucking mind your gut and get out of there. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. And it doesn't mean that the guy next door is going to be the same way just because he looks like him. I have family members that
Exactly.
I'm nothing alike. I have
Mhm.
people that I share DNA with, and I have nothing in common with those people.
Mhm.
We can't be blamed for things that other people do. And the smaller your group is, the safer you are. But the
Mhm.
least amount you're growing. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, you can work for Black owned businesses and you could take all your money to Black owned this and Black owned that, only watch Black movies. But at the end of the day, there's only so much. You're gonna need white people at some point. You're gonna see them
I
in the
think
grocery
that.
store. You're gonna
Mhm.
work with them. You have to find a way
You have to.
to
Mhm.
utilize that, because
Yep.
whether they're your boss or whether they work under you, you, you have to utilize them to get ahead.
Mhm.
You can't do
That's
it alone.
something I agree with you. I think we're all connected. We all need each other as
Mhm,
human beings because it's like
mhm.
even if you have a business, you know, you're gonna need somebody from wherever all over the world that are sending you all these products. It's all like this big
Yeah,
conglomerate of people working together of all different races to
yeah.
make your business and make. So I do agree with that. I do agree. We're all connect. I love that. And you know, I want to talk about here's something that a lot of black people say about biracial light skinned mixed people is that like we get opportunities and we have privileges of due
You
to our
do.
proximity to whiteness,
You do.
right? And then like white people, you see that though? Do you see that like a white person would choose like a light skinned biracial person that is half white versus somebody who is
You want
fully
to you
black? Do you think that that's something that
I
would
that for one, that's true. And you know why? It's because you feel you're safer. You feel
safer the
you're
the palatable thing? That's real.
biracial people are kinder to us. They come at us
Mm,
more open. They come at us
wow.
from a place of we don't have to feel immediately on guard. Be careful about what we say.
Oh.
Be careful how we move in this space
Feel more
because we
comfortable.
could
Mhm.
offend you, and now we've ruined everything. It's comfortable
Mm.
because you're less inclined to be like, you racist fucking bitch. How dare you
Mhm.
look at me like that?
Mhm. You don't feel
It's
like threatened by us,
you don't
basically.
feel threatened in the sense that, I mean, I'm very comfortable about around black people. I've never ever experienced somebody tell me that I've offended them or I'm racist. Now I hear them tell me how all these other white people have done it. So I get it. But for me, biracial people, and I went to Flatirons Mall and I had this
Mhm.
conversation with a bunch of rich, educated white people, and they said
Mhm.
the same thing. Biracial people are more open to having a relationship, especially in the work environment. They're more inclined to have a relationship with us and collaborate with us and be a part of whatever it is we're doing. Now they may be faking it. They may think we're whatever, but at the end of the day, biracial people are more open. When you go to a work
Mm.
environment where there's, hundreds of people, like where I'm at now, biracials do not stick to their group, but you
We
will
don't have
have
no group. We don't have no group. We don't have no community. We gotta get
most
in where we
people
fit in.
most
Okay.
people these days are biracial or consider themselves as biracial, which is very weird to me that biracials feel so secluded because they are
Mhm.
probably the biggest group of people if
Isn't
we
that true?
really
It's
count it.
facts.
Yes.
No, we are. We actually have a lot of people, but we just don't
Yeah.
really have that like
You don't feel
collectivism.
it.
We
You
don't have that
don't
like
feel it.
how in like you were saying how in the white community they don't really there's like more of an
We're individuals. Yeah.
individual I can't say it right now, but
Yeah.
versus collectivism versus being a collectivism where it's like
Mhm.
more like you know
Like the
there's a
black
different
group,
they're the
the
opposite.
black Americans
Yes,
move in a group. Now they all have their own thoughts and their own opinions, but when push
but
comes to
it's more
shove,
they come
they will,
together.
boom, they're a community
Yeah,
and fuck you,
uh huh.
But here's
That's
the
how.
thing,
Yeah,
what I'm starting
we
to
don't.
notice is that you have a group of older black Americans who will all stick together. And they will just like, they ain't gonna fuck with you. They ain't gonna talk with you. They don't wanna work with you. They're cool with each
Mm,
other. And that's that. Now,
mm,
um, younger black Americans are now not like that, where they'll segregate at work. But it's still there. Biracial people get in where they fit in. They make friends
get
with
in where they fit
whoever,
in.
and it's
We
just
do.
they move more comfortably in the spaces. And so for that, we feel more comfortable. So yes, um you will have more opportunities
Let
because
me tell
you're
you.
comfortable.
Let me tell
We
you. But
see you
as
as a
the
piece of
biracial,
us.
I like that. It's good to hear because, like I said, there's a disconnect because it's like I feel like a lot of biracial people they want to distance themselves from white people as
Yeah,
much as possible,
yeah,
and I feel like that's toxic for us because it's like at the end of the day you
it
can't deny your
is.
heritage. It's
Yeah.
gonna, you know. But as a biracial person, it like this is our experience too. When we go in like monoracial, whether it be fully monoracially black or fully monoracially white, it is so easy for us to get singled out and targeted just because they know that we don't have no community. We don't have nobody that's gonna sit here and
Right.
like really stick up for us, like just based off the fact they identify with. They might
Well, as
like us
far
as
as
a
I'm
person.
concerned, you're white.
Hopefully, you know?
If you have a white parent, in my mind, you're fucking white.
No, we're not. We're not white. We're
Like you
not
don't
white.
have to.
No,
You don't. No, you have white in you,
no.
so you're white
So
too. You're white too. So
we're
why would I
no,
hate
we're
you
both.
because you're white too?
We're both. We're
No,
both
I'm
though.
not
Like,
saying you're all white. I'm not saying,
Okay.
well, you're a
Well,
white woman.
but
You're a whole white
mhm.
woman. No, I'm just saying, to
Okay, good.
me, if you have white in you, you're white. You're black too.
Mm,
I don't
yeah,
see you as one or the other. You don't, I don't
that's
see
good.
you. I mean, I see you as I hate you when you, or why would I even see you any differently? And
My bad. My
you
bad.
definitely
Hold
look a
on.
little white in that picture. I'm just saying.
I look cute. It's a
Oh, you
cute
do,
little.
but you look light, girl. Her baby's over it. He's like, "Mommy." Are people talking shit? What's Troy saying?
No, they're really nice.
What's Troy saying?
She said hi.
Hi, Troy. How many people are on? What?
Okay, sorry, my bad.
No,
That's
that's
my
okay.
daughter.
Babies first. But you have to understand, I
Yeah,
just found out that I was white. I mean,
yeah.
until I got on the internet, I've never said I was white. I'm like, I'm Italian. I'm Italian. I'm Native
Mhm,
American. I've never in my life been like, I'm white. Like, and no one's
mhm,
ever referred to me as white. I didn't, they look at my
mm,
skin and yes, okay, I'm
mhm.
white, but everybody's like, oh,
That's
Laura's Italian. Laura's
Yeah,
Italian.
exactly. Look, that's something I feel like it's not it's like Americans in general have an identity issue, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like our ancestors migrated over here. We
Hmm.
lose connection to that culture, and then
Yeah.
people cling on to like skin color to
Hmm.
define their identity, like whiteness. And I feel like black and white people they did it so opposite. Like there's a total culture around blackness and being
Yeah.
black in
Yeah.
America, right? But when it comes to whiteness, there's like really nothing built around that because it's like but I do think it's
Because
like
none of
about
us are the
reclaiming
same. None of us are,
exactly,
we don't
exactly.
see ourselves as just white people. We're like, my husband's French and German. I'm Italian. You know, we just, no one sees themselves as white people.
Exactly.
Can you hear her, baby?
Oh my god, my daughter.
That's so
But
funny.
mhm. And it's so true because I think we should get back to it. Like, my dad is like
Yeah.
Irish. I claim that. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
bubble Irish, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like because you could take pride in that because when it comes to like
Mhm.
you said, there's no culture or anything around white. It's just like
Yeah.
a descriptive term. Like, oh, this person. It's just a description. It's
Mayonnaise
not really
and
like a
hamburgers. Mayonnaise,
yeah.
hamburgers.
There's nothing really like I think we have to like if you're whatever you need to know your like white roots. You need to
Yes.
know like if you're
Yeah.
Irish or if you're Italian, if you're you can't just say like, oh, I'm half white and take like pride in oh, there's no pride in that. There really isn't. There's
No.
pride in being Irish. There's a culture.
Yeah.
There's
There's
a
a whole
history there
thing.
that you
Yes.
can you have to claim that. Like you have to know like,
Or like
your
everybody
but
kept saying, "Oh, you're European, so you're white." I'm like, Italians, I thought were Mediterranean. And they're like,
mm,
it's the same thing. And I'm like, but no, is it though? Like, I haven't,
mhm,
my mother was the olive dark skin,
mhm.
auburn hair, green
They got
eyes.
mixture.
Yeah, it didn't look
Mhm,
white at all to me. But when I told my tias, I was having a conversation with my tias, my aunts, and
mhm,
I told them, I go, do you guys know that you're white? And they're like, oh,
mhm.
the fuck you say? We're not white people. Fuck that. And going off. And I'm like, no, like the
I hear
whole room
Italians
now.
say that a lot.
Yeah,
Is
they're
that
like the
racist?
whole thing. They're
They're
like,
like, "No."
oh, I'm not fucking white. What are they talking about? I'm like, the world says now, if you're not black, you're white. And they're like,
This
oh, fuck
it has
that.
to
They don't
stop.
make the rule for me. Like, my aunts got
Mhm,
pissed
Yeah.
that I was telling
Wow.
them they were white. They had no idea they're white. They
It's
had
like they're
no
taking it's
idea.
erasure. It's like
It's like
it,
you stole
it's
something
erasure.
from them. It
Yeah.
felt like they everything about them was being stolen, and they just would not accept it. They were very angry that I was even bringing it up, and they're
Yeah.
older women. But it was funny to me because most people in the world that I talk to about this, they don't understand the internet narrative, and it's
Mhm.
funny to me because I think that this is how people have felt for a very long time. What's going on the internet, they just don't have the courage to talk about it in open
Right.
spaces. And so
Exactly.
I get that there's something to it, but it's just funny how the world will still pretend that this is not going on.
Exactly.
That, I
No.
mean, Hispanic and Italian women will not acknowledge the fact that they're white. And I'm just like, yes, I guess we're white now. Because
Mm.
I grew up thinking we're not white. I'm not white,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
and it didn't matter what I look like. I am
Mm.
Italian. Like that's it.
Mhm. Right.
And the
Yeah,
people in
and
my
I think
comment
that's
section are like,
right.
"No, you're white. You're white." And
No,
I'm
you
like,
can't like
"No."
you dealt what we dealt with. Like people trying to tell us who we are and trying to control
Mhm.
our identity and how we view ourselves, you
Yeah.
know. That's something I speak about with this other communities. It's like I speak with the Latino community. They're like, a lot of Americans, they try to push their racial ideologies and their racial how they view
Mhm.
race onto us. And it's like we don't want to be like Americans. They're so obsessed with race and so obsessed with this
Yeah.
whole racial binary system is screwing us all over because it's like
Yeah.
it's erasing your identity because it's like,
Mhm.
no, I'm Italian. Like that's like where you come from, your heritage.
Yeah.
If you want to be proud of that, and like it's erasing that. But it's like it's sad because when it comes to Black people, it's like they got their connection because of slavery, right? It was like
Yeah.
their language, they got their spirituality. It was demonized. Spirituality was demonized.
Yeah.
And then like they got their language taken away from them. So it's like
Mhm.
we do you can do your DNA test, but it's like this so far generations removed. But what I
Yes.
really want for us to do as Americans, like how like I talk like when I talk to Latino community, is like they are so proud of their national identity. And it's like
Mhm.
we don't really have that here. It's like people more in America cling to like their racial identity for like a sense of
Yeah.
pride versus like their
Mhm.
because there's so much anti-Americanism.
Right.
I'm trying to heal that. I want to feel
Yeah.
proud of my nationality and people I share a country with,
Yeah.
because it's like we're all so different, but we still can
None
come
of
together and
none of us are from here.
none
Every
of
part
us.
of
We're all,
America, not
yeah.
even Native Americans are technically from here. We've all
Hmm.
migrated to this space. We are a
Exactly.
nation of immigrants. And to have self pride of who you are or where you come from or whatever it is, we should all relish in the fact that every one of us and our heritage and our culture built this nation, and we are the nation everybody wants to be like or come to. And there's a sense of pride
Hmm.
in that, to be Black
Yeah.
American or biracial American or Italian American. There's a lot of weight in that in the world.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
for us to sit here and really focus on all of the shameful things and the hateful things and all, we're hurting ourselves. We're
I
hurting
think we are.
ourselves. Like
Truly.
Italian, if
Truly.
you look back into history for Italian Americans, no, it doesn't have the suffering that other cultures have. No. But
Hmm.
their first years in America were horrible. Were
Yeah.
horrible. And they band together as a community and created a life for themselves. And never once will you find an Italian American who will not be proud and feel superior to everybody else because we
Damn.
are Italian Americans. We're
Hmm.
proud of who we are. We're proud of our struggle here in America. We're proud of the hateful shit that happened to us because as a community we rised above it and we found a
Hmm.
way to be successful. Now, granted,
Hmm.
there's a lot of shitty things that we've done as Italian Americans as well in history. But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I think every race or every nationality here in America has that story of the
Yeah.
beginning stages of
Adversity.
struggle and
Hmm.
adversity and
Period.
surviving and thriving and
Yeah.
rising above it.
It's
And
something to be proud of. That's so American, man. Like,
right,
yeah, it makes
it's
me so
we
proud. Like, hey,
exactly.
we are overcomers. We're fighters. You know,
And
we're gonna make it happen.
we're gonna
We're gonna
do
do it.
it.
Yeah, we're gonna
The
do it.
fact
We're gonna do
that
what we're
we are in
gonna
a space now where people can get on the internet and talk
do.
shit
Hmm.
all day, every
All
day about
day.
anybody they want to and not really
For
face
real.
anything but some shit talking. I mean, how lucky are we? How
We're
lucky are
fucking
we?
blessed as
We are
hell.
blessed.
Honestly.
And
Truly.
we don't have to fuck with each other. We really
We
don't. We
don't.
could
We don't.
easily find our own space and be done with it and not even worry about it.
Hmm.
But you'll be missing
Yeah.
out. My
You're
life
missing
is
out.
good because of the people that are in it, and the people that are in it, none of them look like me.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
make it a point to keep that
Hmm.
diversity and that richness in my life, not because
Absolutely.
I'm virtue
Hmm.
signaling or anything other than they make me better as a human
Hmm.
being. They bring
Hmm.
something to my life that gives me just
I love it.
a warmth that I
Mhm.
didn't have, you know,
Mhm.
in other spaces. And
Mhm.
so if you don't want that, that's cool. But for me, it's the best thing I've ever experienced is
Mhm.
relationships with people who are so different from me, but yet so
Mhm.
the same. We've lived a lot
Exactly.
of the same things just in different shoes. And
Exactly.
so, you know, it just, I don't know. I think that the media and our government, and here we go with the tinfoil hat, just bear with me for a minute,
Yeah.
is
Go ahead.
trying is trying to keep this division between us, is trying to keep
Mhm.
anybody who is not white in a space of feeling like everybody's the enemy, you must
Yep.
segregate. And I think that I think a lot of the hype and the shit of talking shit about white people is not for anybody's benefit. They're trying to provoke
Mhm.
the ignorant white people,
It's
the
sad. It's
ignorance
sad.
in white people, to turn them against people of color. They want
Mm.
to
Mhm.
fuel this Mexican border thing. They want to fuel this
Mm.
George Floyd thing and these, you know, people who are committing crimes because defund the police. They want to put that on repeat to make you feel like you're here and make me feel like I need to be fearful of you and I need to take up my arms to protect myself. That's what they want. They are trying to provoke
I
the
agree.
ignorance in white people, and they are trying to keep Black people and minorities in their place. And they're using it by saying, oh, we're
Mm.
here to help you. We're the ones on your team. We're trying to liberate
Mm.
you. We want you to have this, that, and the other. And we're going to knock white people down. But it's not knocking white people
Mm.
down.
It's not.
They're not taking anything away from white
See,
people. They're just allowing you to act like an ass while they videotape it so that white people can say, see,
I knew it.
I knew it. I knew it.
I knew it. Yeah, and they're gonna provoke them. It's gonna provoke a
That's right.
reaction, and
They're
then it's gonna
dividing
be
us.
never
Yeah.
ending. It's never ending.
Yeah.
It's never ending, and that's something that we should all unite to fight against. Because there
Hmm.
is like they're trying to keep people in their place. Like
Yeah.
there's a hierarchy. There's a system in place that is like you're at the bottom of it. You're gonna be the underclass, the labor force. You know, and we're gonna be the ones
Yeah.
reaping all the benefits of it. You know, because we're gonna be the ones just kind of
And
you're gonna be the ones working for. So that system in place is something I think we should all unite against. Like
yes.
I was like, I'm all about
Yes.
uniting with other communities. Like I've been
Yep.
trying to do that in these spaces for so long. And it's like now I'm forming like I talk to the black community, I'm talking to the Latino community, I'm talking to the white community. And it's like all of us should be uniting against it. It fucks all of us
Yeah.
over. Like I remember
Yeah.
doing like the whole like 1%, how it's like such a huge, it's like it fucks all of us over. And it's like all
Yeah.
we're sitting here doing is fighting amongst ourselves and not
Yeah.
fixing anything and not fixing anything. All
Yeah.
we're doing is talking shit and fighting. And
Yep.
just it's ridiculous. So it's
Yep.
like it is put by oh my god, especially on TikTok. Like I remember it's such a trend to just sit here and shit on white people all day, every day. I hated it. It made me feel like shit. I had to get off that top. I had to get off of it. I was like, yo, this is not healthy at all. To sit here and just
And
hate, 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 push hate, hate,
white
hate all
people
day. It's
don't.
not healthy.
And here's the thing. White people don't care. They're not caring. They're not upset by it. They just kind of put
Hmm.
their blinders on and say, fuck it. I'm worried about this shit in my house. I'm worried about this shit with my family. They don't care.
Yeah.
So you're literally just sending this shitty, hateful message out to your own people. You're poisoning your own people and your own communities and your young people. White people are not bothered. And it's like, that's the fucking problem. White people don't
Like the
give a
apathetic.
shit. Yeah, they're not getting it. They don't care. And if they're not welcome, fuck it. Fuck it. So they won't get involved in the conversation. And although I get it, everybody's like, well, Mexican people and Hispanic people are going to be the larger population or whatever very soon. They're not right now. And so at some point, we need white people to stand up and say, we're done with this. Don't hate me. I didn't do this. I'm in this with you. And really be in it with you. Not throw some money in your direction and say, here you go, here's some charities, live up, deal with it. Really get in it and say, we're done with this. I'm not the enemy and you're not my enemy. We need to find a way. And I always thought that the biracial community was going to be the difference. When you see
We're the middle ground.
yes, when you see black and white people commingling, paying bills together, cleaning toilets together, building a home, making children, you're like, okay, there's some hope. There's some hope. And now look what they've done. Look what's happened. Now biracial children feel like they have no community. They don't know which parent to choose. The black community's being racist to them. The white community's being racist to them. Now now what was supposed to mix us is now tearing them apart too. Now we've just added one more group of people who are hurt. And it's like, this is not how this was supposed to go.
No,
this is not at all.
It's not.
I mean, it's just not how this was supposed to go.
Here we are, and here we are, and I think it's good because I think we bring a perspective to the table that's needed, and that that's why about us having our own voice, knowing what our identity is. Like I'm against the one drop rule because I respect Black people's identity. And I'm like, they have their own identity. We don't have the same experiences. We love them. We come from them. We respect them. And that's why I claim my identity so much, because it's like I know we have so much in common, but it's like we also have to respect differences at the same time. I don't have no issue respecting. So that's why I claim being biracial and claim being mulatto, claim exactly what I am, and I'm just gonna walk in the world as I am. And I want to I think we can bring a lot to the table when it comes to building the bridges and healing and bringing people together, because it's like I do think it's important for us, but it's important for us to claim our identity and have our own, we just that's the first step. Like that's been taken from us because of the one drop rule, and it's still being appropriated. It's still always out every day on my channel, the one drop rule, one drop rule, one drop rule. And it's something that has to stop.
So
it's
let
like,
me
hey,
ask you this. So this one drop
people.
rule means that if you have one drop of black, you're black.
They're Black, and it's like, hey, we are biracial. Like we just want to be accepted as biracial. Like we're both white and Black. Like we're our own people. That's what we want to be.
Here's another reason why white people just don't get it. I'm not a white woman, even fifth on the list. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a grandmother.
Exactly. They don't put their race first.
I'm so many things before I am a white woman. I very rarely even care about that. Like I even care. I don't even really bring up the fact that I'm a woman. I'm just like, I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm so many things. So that's another reason why white people just don't get it. Like we don't get it. I'm not loyal to any white person unless you make or break me. And I don't have a community with anybody that I don't love and care about. And so for me, it's like I'm so many things other than a white woman. And I couldn't imagine being cognizant of that all the time and being aware of having to say, I'm biracial. I'm not white. I'm not Black. I'm biracial. And then I'm a woman. And then I'm a mother. And I'm a educator, a student or whatever, like and that's if that is something you have to constantly be concerned about. I know that that's not yours. You had to be taught that. It has to be taught to you. because you didn't come into this world giving a shit
Nah,
about what
this is
color your
what
parents were.
no, this is what I because we all start to be racially conscious around like middle school, high school.
Mhm.
We start, So I thought I was black because I'm like, oh, the world's gonna see what's black, so I totally
Right.
accepted that. I'm like, cool, I don't got no issue with that. And so that's how most biracial people are in America because of the one
Mhm.
drop. It's like if you look black, you're black, And I'm like, I'm fine with that. And then but they leave out the fact how a lot of people in the black community view us. A lot of people in the black community do not view us as black. They don't identify with us. They're
Right.
like, no, if you have a white parent, you're not black. If you gotta have two black parents to be black, that's what a lot of people say in the black community. So it's like, whoa, they're always like, well, white people are gonna view us black, but they leave out how black people are gonna view us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going by
Mhm.
what black people are saying. I'm respecting their identity. They're like, no, we don't want to. If they want to gatekeep their identity, I'm like, that's
Mhm.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's something I had to face. And that's
Right.
something now it's like there's so much controversy about just me saying, hey, I'm just biracial. There's people saying that, oh, you if you're biracial, you hate your blackness, or it's just like we just can't be biracial, and just like there's so many people saying, no, you're this, you're
Well,
this, you're this, you're this,
because
you're
you're
this, you're this.
taking the
It's
for a
crazy.
white from a white point of view, by
Mm-hmm.
that whole fight of, well, we're biracial, we're not white, we're not black, we're not um from a white point of view, it's a problem for us because it takes away our hope. It takes
Takes
away
away
our
your
hope.
hope.
The biracial children and the mixed couples made white people feel like we were moving in a direction where we're all going
You
to
won't
be
care.
one eventually. We're all going to be one eventually, and there
That
will
ain't
be no
happening.
divide. And it's the opposite. And
Mm.
so now
Yeah,
for
we're
white
trying to
people,
have
it's
our
like,
own identity.
yeah, white people are
Mm.
just like, well, fuck, okay,
It's
cool,
gonna
like,
take a couple
but
hundred years.
now
It's
if
gonna take a
we're
couple
like,
hundred
yeah,
years.
and now we're like, well, now it's getting worse. Now we have another group of people that hate us.
No, we
It
don't
just
hate
added
you.
one more group of people that are like
Nah.
fucking white
But
people.
yeah, a lot of a lot of biracial people do hate white people. They do,
Yeah.
and it's sad. And it's
Hmm.
sad. That's what I'm here trying to build that
Hmm.
bridge and heal that. I don't want to sit
Yeah.
here and hate white people and or
Yeah.
hating anybody. Like it's not healthy.
It's
So
not healthy, and it's not helping, and white
mm,
people don't give a shit enough to fight and say, we're not racist. I'm not gonna hurt
mhm,
you. I'm not gonna fucking
mhm,
take your job. I'm not gonna harass you. I don't care if you live next to me. I don't care if our children play together. White people need to just start standing up and saying, stop speaking for me. I don't have a problem. Like, I'm
mhm,
not worried about it. But they don't. They just let
mhm.
people say whatever and let them speak for us, and they keep their fucking head down and they worry about themselves, and that's the problem. White people need to stand up and say, stop, I don't have a fucking problem with you.
Wow.
Enjoy
That's so
yourself, like, do
interesting.
you.
Man, you really that's interesting. I'm happy you're sharing your perspective because I never
Yeah.
looked at it like that. Like, white people were hoping that, when
Yeah.
black people and white people come together and make babies that will all just be one.
One.
And it's like we won't. That is so interesting. I never
Yeah.
thought of it like that. And it's like, no,
Yep.
it's a new race. Now it's a new group of people who
It's
hate
a new
white
group
people.
of
And it's
people
like
that hate us.
I
It's like,
feel like
how did that
but
happen? How does this
on the
happen?
same side, there's a lot of people who fear mulatto biracial people on the black side too, because it's like there's been a lot of fear mongering around us, and that's on the black side too. Like, oh, we're gonna
because
rise up and cause destruction
what?
to their
Because
community as well.
the
It's
same,
crazy.
they take it back to slavery, where white owners would have sex with black slaves, and then the lighter
Mhm.
children
Rape
would
them,
get favoritism but not treated as
house
good as the white
slave,
kids.
house slave.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it has nothing to do with that. It's that biracial people are more welcoming to us, so we're more welcoming to them.
Mm.
And like we were talking about before we came on here,
It's nothing to do with skin color.
black women are saying that,
Mm-hmm.
biracials are taking their place in media. No, if we talk about it and we're going off their narrative, they didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a place in media. There was no
Mm.
representation. It was limited. You had maybe five really popular black actresses, and they got all the roles. And now all of a sudden, there's biracial women getting roles. It's not because they're replacing it, they're adding to it. You know, there is
Mm.
no replacement when your narrative is that there wasn't any, and so they couldn't steal
Mm.
something that there wasn't. There's a lot
Mhm.
more Latino actresses now and actors now. You know, we're getting more diverse in media. Biracials aren't stealing anything. They're just adding biracial
Thank
representation now.
you. Thank you. We don't have to take away from
Right.
black. We don't have to be like, oh, it's like a weird competition thing. It's like if you
Right.
guys are being uplifted, you were being down. It's like, no, black people, we don't have to degrade others to uplift them. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
And
saying?
it
We can
has
have our own
nothing
lane. We can have our own lane. That's all. That's
it
all we
has
want is our own lane.
nothing, yeah, it has nothing to do with the way a black woman looks. Period. Because you look at Angela Bassett or the young girl Lupita, not Lupita. What's the
Lupita,
girl? She's from Africa or something. She's very dark skinned,
I know
natural
what you're talking
hair.
about. Lupita.
Is
Lupita
there Lupita
Nyong'o. Yeah,
Nyong'o?
that's Lupita. Yes,
Okay, I
Nyong'o.
so
Yeah.
look at they're not light skinned. They're not um like Lupita is feminine, but like Angela Bassett, she is a strong, powerful, dark-skinned black woman, and she is so popular. And white men, white women, everybody's like thinks she's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
because she's an excellent actress. She's
Mhm.
beautiful. She's powerful, and
Mhm.
it is what it is. And you've
Mhm.
got the Lupita Nyong'o, very dark skinned woman, all natural hair, very feminine, total opposite, has an accent. If these women, and there's way more, I'm just naming those two. If it was that white people or Mexican people did not want black women on the screen, those women would not be on the screen. Viola Davis. I mean,
Mhm.
all of these women. Look at Oprah. She is
Mhm.
uh, highly successful, and she is a black woman, and she used to have an afro and very dark skin.
Mhm.
White people we don't care about that stuff. Like, you see all these commercials now with mostly black people, and everybody's like, well, we finally have some black representation, we finally can feel it's like white people will still buy those shoes if a black woman's
Mhm.
wearing them. We can still
Oh
see
yeah.
ourselves. We like those shoes, we're gonna buy them. We don't have to see a white woman in those shoes to buy those shoes.
Mhm.
And so it's not offensive that black women are now advertising Gucci and all of these things, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us. We're not focused on that. A beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. A talented
Mhm.
woman is a talented woman. If the
Mhm.
story's done right, we're all
Mhm.
for it, you know?
Mhm.
And biracial women are not stealing anything. Halle Berry has been popular for a very long time, not because she's a
Mhm.
great actress, but because she's
She's
fine as fuck.
beautiful. Yeah.
She is fine as fuck. I wish I looked
Mhm.
like Halle Berry. I wish,
Mhm.
I love her because she's just beautiful. She's a kind woman. She's smart. She's beautiful. It doesn't matter. And it's not that biracial people came in and stole anything. They're just now being added to the conversation.
Exactly. I agree. We're being added to the conversation,
That's right.
and yeah, we are just
There's
trying to forge
room.
our lane. There's room
Yeah.
for us.
There's
There's room
room
for us.
for everyone.
Exactly.
And I
There's
have
room
to
for us.
say, black
I agree.
women do not understand how the world sees them. The more
Mhm.
I speak to black women and I watch these black channels, I don't think they understand how beautiful and
Mhm.
unique and special that the world sees them. They
Mhm.
they internalize so many things that are not
Exactly. That's
relevant,
the issue. It's
and they lead with
internalization.
that. And I'll tell you, they are a tough nut to crack. I mean, you have to really work hard and be as authentic as you can to even get their time of day. But when you
Mhm.
do, I'm telling you, these women could lead this conversation if
Mhm.
we could just put the fucking hate down, put
Yeah.
all the
Put the hate
shit
down.
down, and just start seeing things from our own eyes, not what we've been told, not what we've been taught, None of that. What are your experiences? Do you have experiences that dictate your opinion, or was this given to you?
You know what? That's the
Period.
issue though. A lot of us I did a stream about this, about internalizing anti-mix narratives about, I love Black women, they definitely deal with a lot of internalized things that they hear from within the community that
Mhm,
affects their self-esteem and affects how they view themselves,
mhm,
definitely. And I feel like biracial people, we have that same struggle where there's a lot of things that affect us. Like, I get on my channel, this is why we shouldn't have mixed kids because they're confused, and
mhm.
basically saying we shouldn't exist. And like, there's so many things that we can internalize and start viewing ourselves like we're just an abomination. We shouldn't exist. We shouldn't
Right.
be here. We're not welcome here. And
Baby,
there's
misery
extremists
loves
on both sides.
misery.
Yeah,
Misery loves
they're
company.
miserable,
It's like,
right?
if I'm hated by white people, you're hated by white people. Why? Because they hate me. They're gonna hate you. You stay away from them. But don't worry, I don't
Mm,
want you in my space either. Stay the fuck out of my space, because there's a hierarchy and you're not in it. But don't worry, don't
mm,
bother going to the white people because they don't want you. So you're gonna take whatever I give you because I'm all you got.
that's
It's a
basically what it
very
is. That's
domestic
why we're trying
violence
to,
type
very much
narrative
so.
that's going
Hmm.
on here. It's
It is.
like, it's bizarre to me,
I
but
don't
it's,
like it. That's why we're trying to create our own, because
mhm,
it's like a controlling
yep,
thing. It's like so many people are trying to control our identity, to
yep,
control, like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to
mhm.
do this in order for us to feel accepted. I'm like, I'm not looking for acceptance from nobody.
You don't need it.
That's something I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I'm just looking to build bridges and build connections from
Mm,
people because we're all human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And also, having a space like we're creating the space right now, like just on YouTube. Like I say, we're creating the more spaces where we can have our own little voices and our
mhm.
own, so we can share experience with each other, and we can uplift each other and try to, like,
Yeah,
that we're just creating the lane right now for us right
yeah,
now. And it's like, I just why I'm talking to, I want to talk to people from the white community and Black community, because those are the two communities that we come from. That it's like, hey, I'm happy you said what you said about, like, oh, it's like we created another group that's just gonna hate us. And it's like,
yeah,
no, it does not have to be like that. We
yeah.
could be totally all coexist peacefully.
Right,
Honestly, I think
right.
we totally can if we just communicate and talk to each other and actually be honest. And actually, it's just about willing to have the conversation about, like, what's really
Yeah.
going on. Like, how do you view things? How do I view things? And how do we figure out solutions for what's
Hmm.
going on? So it's like, that's what really needs to happen. And I'm grateful that it's happening. That's what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah.
use my platform to do. And it takes, like, we can't just be in our own little bubble. You know what I'm saying? We can't
Yeah.
just be only, we have to talk to people about, like, well, how are we thinking about this, or how are we feeling about that. We have to
Mhm.
talk to others so they could, like, we could all just have an understand that's what's so hard. It's like, it feels like people, there's so much misunderstanding going around,
Yeah,
and
it is.
it needs to be cleared, and it needs to just, for us to just come together.
We're gonna
And
have to break the divide
we're
because
gonna have to,
people,
we
it
have
is
to.
it is majority white people, but they're not us. They're not the people just living day to day. It's our
Mhm.
government, it's our
The
media, it's
government,
rich and powerful
exactly.
people who want to keep us
Mhm.
divided, because if we're focusing on each other and fucking with each other, we're not going to focus on what they're doing.
Mhm.
Period. I'm not your enemy. I'm just trying to make it in this situation with you. And
They're
yes,
not my
there
enemy.
are
No.
there are so many privileges that I have as a white woman
Mhm.
that I had no idea I had. I had no idea.
I
Now,
think we
granted,
all
I still
have.
have to work very hard to get what I want and whatever, but socially, I've realized now I do have social currency that I had no idea I didn't. I don't
Mhm.
have to care what other white people are doing. They're not my fucking problem. I don't have to
Mhm.
worry about someone else's kids going to jail for something that they didn't do, or the femicide that's going on to other white women, that, because I just don't have to care about that. I don't have to
Mhm.
see outside of my world. Whereas
Mhm.
a Black woman or a biracial woman has a lot of social weight that they carry and responsibility that they carry. And whether it was given to them, or whether it's real, or whether they created it for themselves because of what they've been taught, who the fuck knows? But Black women, biracial women, women of color in general have a lot more weight than I ever had, or that I will
Mhm.
ever take on. And so
Mhm.
that alone is a huge privilege. And now that I'm in an environment where I have no authority, I'm not in charge of anybody, I literally am just going to work, punching in and out,
Mhm.
I realize how differently I'm treated
Mhm.
than not only like women of color, but lesbian women, older women, you name it. I have a
Mhm.
certain social currency and I'm able to say and do and move however I choose to, and I get away with it. And I have no idea why that is. But it's not just
Mhm.
with white men, it's with the black men, the Hispanic men, it's with the men at work. And even women. So I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is. I shouldn't have it. I have no power
Mhm.
there. I have no authority and I'm not smarter than anybody else. It's just something that was given to me and I have no idea why. I have
You
no
know how
idea
I
why.
view it? I view it
Mm.
as every single group and community got advantages and disadvantages, every single one. That's how I view it.
Mhm.
When it comes to like this privilege, it's like, every single I view black people, they got a lot of power and
Mhm.
privilege over us. Like us biracial people, they have a lot of numbers, they collectivize, they come together.
Mhm.
There's so
Mhm.
much power in that, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's a privilege that, us biracial people, we don't really have that little like we're
Right.
trying to like collectivize more and actually like come together so we can like stick
You
up
want
for
your
each
own
other.
power. You want your own
we
power.
we
You don't
want
want
we
something that
want
was
the
given
power.
to you or that somebody allows you
Yeah,
to have.
true. And it's like we want to be able to just defend ourselves. You know how like you
Mhm.
can't really say nothing about black person because it's like black people are gonna shut it down, and it's like that's
Yeah.
good. That's like them coming together
Yep.
and sticking together and be like,
Mhm.
no, you ain't gonna mess with us. But you could talk crazy about biracial people all day, every day. Like it don't matter.
Yeah.
They're not gonna come together and be like, no, and shut that down. We
Well,
don't have that type of
that's
power.
you,
That
honey. That's literally you living the white privileged experience. Enjoy.
Basically, right? It's like
I'm
y'all
just
talking
like,
crazy about us
dude.
all day,
And you
every
know
day,
what?
and it's
I now
okay.
that I'm thinking about it, you know why I probably am have the social currency that I have is I don't give a fuck.
You don't give
I
a
don't
fuck.
care.
I feel
I
that.
don't care. I don't have to
I
worry. I
relate.
say whatever I want to say. I do whatever I want to do. And I was looking for a job when I found this one and I'll find another one. You can't stop me. You can't hurt my feelings. You are not going to change my day. The only person that matters as their opinion about me is the man sitting across the table from me. Everybody else
Hmm.
can go fuck off. And maybe
Period.
that's why people treat me a certain way because I
Hmm.
just move in the world like I don't care. It is what it is. You can't affect me one way or another. And if you do, it's not going to last long.
Hmm. I feel that. I feel that, and I agree with Anthony too. We need to fight for our needs because
Mhm,
everybody, like when it comes to treating people differently, I think there's nothing
mhm,
wrong with that because everybody has different needs. Like you have
mhm.
different needs than me. This person,
Yep.
a black person, has different needs than me. This man has different. Like it's okay to treat people differently and meet their needs, like what they are. You know what I'm saying? When you disrespect people because they're a certain way, that's one thing, right? It's just
Right.
about. I don't think it's about like not treating people differently. It's just about everybody being able to meet their needs. Like us as biracial people, we have a certain set of needs that we need. We need to be able to have that's so important for human beings to
Mhm,
be able to be around people that you can relate to and people who could just share their
mhm.
experiences. That's so healthy. Like we need that as biracial people, and that's what we're kind of fighting for. It's like
Right.
we don't because other community they don't know what it's like to not have that.
Right.
You have no idea what it's like to not have that whatsoever. That sense of like like it's hard, and it's like that's why we're like trying to fight for our needs, and you know what I'm saying. And it's like
Well,
I want to be an
essentially,
ally for others as well too to make sure
essentially,
they're getting their needs met as well.
essentially, you guys are a new race.
We're
You're
new.
at
We're
the
new.
you're
Exactly.
just babies trying to learn your
We're
way.
babies.
Black
Basically.
people and white people have been around for so long. We found a way to
Hmm.
move and exist in this world in our own way. And
Yeah.
we've built up our armor and we've built up our allies and our weapons and we're ready to go. We're ready to fight. We have the tools.
Yeah.
Biracial people in America are very new. They're a new little race of
No,
their
we're
own.
not new, but
No,
here's the
you're
thing.
new.
Here's the
Think
thing.
about
No,
it.
here's the thing. Listen,
How
listen, listen,
long have
listen.
white people if think
No,
about it,
listen.
we're a very young country. and white people and black people weren't mixing in the beginning. So now you're a very new race.
Yeah, you're right, because
You're
they
so
created.
new.
But here, I did a stream. One of my streams I did was about learning about, like, how, like, the Latin America, how they were colonized by the Spaniards, right? And how they
Mhm.
had a totally different, like, mindset when it came to, like, race mixing than, like, Anglo Americans that came over here from, like, the British, and, like,
Mhm.
because they outlawed, like in North America, it was anti-miscegenation was outlawed in the 1600s, like from the
Right.
get-go. It was just like, no, we're not
Yeah.
doing this. We're
Yep.
not doing this.
Yep.
So, like, it was like if a white woman gave birth to a mulatto child, she would be enslaved along with her child. So it was
Yep.
like, it wasn't all over the country, but it was in a lot of states, right? So
Yeah.
we know which
Yeah.
states too. And but in it was never any laws against, like, in Latin America, there was never any law. So that whole time they were mixing, like, the
Yeah.
whole time. So that's why it's like, and over there it's more about, like, national identity, because all of them are all mixed up. They feel
Yeah.
like more like they have that cultural connection with each other, because they all, like, kind of share a heritage. They're all kind of
Right.
like, there's very few, like, monoracial people that are fully this or fully that. It's like everybody's a little bit of something. So it's like, that's why they have, like, that sense of, like, I'm just identifying with my culture and my
Yeah.
nationality so much,
Yeah.
versus over here where it's like it just got legalized. And
Yeah.
like, because we went through the segregation, we went
Yeah.
through all this stuff, and now, like, anti-miscegenation laws was overturned, Loving in Virginia,
Mhm.
June 12th, 1967.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and now, but
Can you
right now
believe
it is,
that?
we're trying to,
Can you
yeah,
believe
it's
that?
just
If you
now
think
got,
about it,
yeah.
just think about it.
Hmm.
1967 was not that long ago. And if you think about it, look how far we've come. People
Hmm.
say on the internet and on media all day long how they hate white people, and nothing happens to them. That white people are the devil, that white people are pieces of shit,
Nothing
that
happens.
white people, and nothing happens. And in
No,
1967, you couldn't even love a black person if you were
it's
white. You
crazy,
couldn't
right?
marry a black person. Think of how far we've come. I
Hmm.
mean, and I'm not
That's
being
crazy.
hateful about them talking shit
No,
about
that's
white
real.
people, but I'm just thinking that
Hmm.
is true fucking power. To be
Uh-huh.
able to say those fucking white people and not know those white people, not be physically harmed by those white people. And you could just say, I fucking hate white people. They're all racist. They're all pieces of shit. They're all this and that. And nothing happens to you. That is power. That is freedom. That is
Hmm.
exactly where we should be. And only in
Mm.
1967, you couldn't love and marry mixed races. You couldn't make a
Mm.
baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, think of how far we've evolved and come, but also realize that how young biracial is. Like, it's
Mhm.
new. It's
It's new.
you
I'm
guys
telling
are
you.
creating what this is. You're
Mhm.
paving the way for essentially a whole new race
Yeah, and
because
it's been
eventually that's
happening
your race.
forever.
Yeah.
This whole race mixing, biracial stuff, like, it's been happening forever.
It
Before
not in
America came
America though.
around.
Not in
Before
America.
America, but I'm just saying, like, I think in America it was demonized so much, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because
Right.
it's like, oh, we're pure, and it was like a
But
demonize. It's something that was
if
very
you go to
uncomfortable.
other
But
if you go to other
country, yeah.
countries, you'll see how differently they are than America. And as Americans, we live in our own little bubble. We have no fucking idea how good we
Mhm.
got it because we've never had to go suffer anywhere else. We've never
Mhm.
had the experiences of other countries. So to us, this is all shit when really we have it better than anybody else. This is our new little experience, and biracial
Mhm.
children and biracial couples is a very new thing to
Yeah.
America, and
Yeah. It
we're
is.
figuring it out, and we are figuring it out at a very rapid pace
Mhm.
because we are in a place now where we can be discontent. We can talk shit. We can hate each other for no damn reason. And
Yeah.
nothing's going to happen to us. No white people are going to come in and kick down your fucking door and beat you and hang you up because you
Mhm.
said white people were racist and pieces of shit.
Yeah,
They
and
can't.
what I'm learning in these spaces, we do have a lot of history here in America, but it was very much hidden and kept under wraps because
Hmm.
it's like that's something that's so much shame around. Like
Yeah,
if somebody gave birth, because there was like
yeah.
so much like the laws that were in place. Like we do have a
Hmm.
history here, but it's
Yeah.
just not even it's not very well known at all.
No.
So it's like
And
yeah,
those children
hmm
were hidden. Those children
hidden.
were
Yeah,
not
hmm
acknowledged as that white man's kids. That woman was
exactly.
a single mother who had a baby because she was sleeping around or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
that woman's children. That wasn't
Yep.
that white man's kids. This is
hmm
a new thing, and biracial
It's a new
children
thing.
and adults now have to pave the way, and you get to
Yeah.
choose the path, and you teach your children, and you teach your community's children on where you want to be. And if
hmm
you want to continue the black American story and white people are devils, then cool, that's your choice. But
hmm
I beg, I would love to hear that you're doing that because white people have collectively treated you like shit and you have a personal
Mhm,
experience for that, not just
mhm,
that
thank
that's
you.
what you were told. Because
Exactly.
most
That's
black
what we're being
people,
told.
yeah,
That's the
most
issue.
black people have not experienced this from the white people they know,
Mhm.
but they
Mm,
feel it in their heart that it's real, and they will
mhm,
not give white people a chance until you prove yourself. And most white
mhm,
people don't give a shit enough to do that. And
mhm,
ultimately, if white people did, and white people worked hard at making amends and making this right, the world would be a better fucking place. But they're just not
mhm.
going to because they don't have to. They don't feel
Exactly.
that social responsibility. They will tell you to your face, I didn't do it. I don't fucking care. It
Mhm,
wasn't me. I didn't own slaves. My family was poor. My family's been poor for centuries. I I didn't do it. Go tell
mhm,
somebody else.
mhm,
Instead of just being like, I get it. And proving that they're not that white guy. They're not that white woman.
mhm.
And trying to make amends. It
Mm,
doesn't
they don't
matter
care.
if you did it, bro. It doesn't
Mm,
matter. It is a social stigma and pain on an entire community that
mhm,
needs to know that you're not out to get them, and you're going to
mhm,
have to prove it. It's like when your spouse cheats on you. They can tell you they're not going to. They can tell you they love you. You want to stay with them, but it's going to take a long time before you believe that they're not doing it. They're going to have to try really hard to be accountable all the time before you feel
mhm.
like this motherfucker's texting somebody else. It's just
Mm,
like that.
yeah.
We have to
Mhm,
try. And until they have to try, they're not going to, because they're like, call me a racist. You can be shitty to me. You can hate me. I'm just not going to give a fuck.
mhm,
And that's their privilege. They don't
mm,
have to give a fuck.
mm. That's so deep because I'm so happy I'm learning this because it does take two to want to come together and heal.
Yeah.
It takes two. It takes you meeting halfway and me meeting halfway in order
Yeah.
for those bridges to get built,
Hmm.
right? So it's like you
Hmm.
can't do it by yourself. If you come
Nope.
halfway and the other person doesn't, it'll never happen. So it's like but we gotta take it down to like the individual level because we gotta find people
It
who
has to
are
start.
willing to
Hmm.
build those little bridges and actually have the conversations who are actually willing to like just have those tough conversations and be able to look at ourselves and be able to be like, hey,
Hmm.
I know how I'm viewed, but that's not who I am,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. Like I know who I am. I know that I've worked on myself so I can be a good character and learn from the mistakes of my ancestors in the past and know that I'm not here to repeat that cycle that's
Yeah.
been happening. And
Yep.
that's what matters is the present, is the here and now. We're creating a culture right now. We're
Right.
creating, the values. We're creating the richness. We're creating it right now by choosing to be the best versions of ourselves,
Yeah.
basically. So that's what I'm kind
Like
of
I
like,
said, it took a
Mhm,
long time to get to a place where I could speak freely on my channel and not get you fucking white bitch or shut the
mhm,
fuck up or whatever. It took a long time.
mhm,
And most I've learned more than I've taught, and I've experienced more, and I've changed because I took the time. But most white
Mhm.
people don't understand there's value in that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They don't see that
Mhm.
we can learn, we can feel better. Our
You
life, our
can.
world can be opened up. White people are
Mhm.
very focused on themselves, their life, their family, their problems, and where they
Mhm.
want to go in life. They're not outward
Mhm.
looking in the sense that we don't live in the world. We live right
Mhm.
here, and we create a space right here, and if you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. It doesn't fucking matter. We're not
Mhm.
looking outward and thinking, well,
Wow.
shit, that neighborhood over there is fucking really in trouble or blah, blah, blah. We just don't see it that way. And I have to tell you, like, it took a long time to get Black women and biracial women to give me a shot. And I didn't
Mhm.
know what I wanted from it. I didn't know. I just had questions, and I needed the answers to it. And I
Mhm.
got so much more once I put the effort in. Once I
Mhm.
explained myself over and over and over, once I expressed what I was learning, and once I said things that I needed that was wrong, and I got, it just took a lot of work. And
Mhm.
and most people would have given up. Most people I
Yeah.
know is like, why are you even bothering? Fuck those people.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know why. I know that I'm gonna
Mhm.
get something out of this, and I really want to continue this conversation. And I'm telling you,
Mhm.
it has changed my life.
Mhm.
So I
I
I
love
think
that.
that yeah, and it's like I think that people on both sides could feel
Mhm.
that way if we could just, one person at a time, one community at a time. We look
Yep.
at ourselves as individuals and not our race or
Mhm.
our tagline,
You
and
have to.
literally start experiencing life outside of ourselves, outside of our communities, and stop being the white woman from Colorado or the biracial woman from Arizona or Texas or the Black woman from New York, because
Mhm.
it's not what we
Right.
are. We're
It's not what
mothers,
we are.
we're daughters, we're
Mhm.
sisters, we are women.
I agree.
And as women alone, we have experienced a lot that we could
Mhm.
bond over and learn from each other.
Mhm.
Men, period. My husband has a lot of Black men and biracial men as friends, and they don't live much different than him. They don't feel any different. They suffer the same shit, the same stuff. They just do it differently. And it's like, we have this that we have in common. We've got a lot of differences, and we can learn from those differences. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of shit in common. And we need to just be men and women having the
Yeah.
conversation, trying to make this world better for each other.
Mhm.
Because I could bring a lot to your life if you gave me a chance. And I know you could bring a lot to my life. And we don't even have to be in the same room.
I absolutely agree with you. I'm loving this conversation. Oh my god, thank you. But yeah, I'm loving it because I'm so happy to hear your perspective because I know that we all should be committed to healing in this country
Yes.
when it comes to and actually
Yes.
seeing because like when you're seeing from a place of hurt, you're not really seeing things clearly,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
we have to heal in order to really see things clearly for what they are and not what we think they're going to be
Right.
or what we you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that's something that's so important, and I'm telling like this is why I'm having these conversations because we are a new race here, we're here.
Yes.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go so much
No,
as a
that's
kid.
okay. That's okay.
But
My thing is that I think that from a white person's perspective, I think we all need to really look at it this way and say, I didn't have to hurt you. I didn't have to be the one that hurt you or caused this way you feel about me. To be empathetic, understand, and want to do right by you. It doesn't have to be my sin that made you feel the way that you do, but I can be part of the healing. I can be part of part of the
absolutely.
solution as opposed to
Yes,
part of the problem. And it is going to
absolutely.
take white people stepping up and saying, I'm not a fucking racist. I don't have a
Mhm.
problem. Let's have a conversation. Let me prove it to you. Let me show you who I am before you judge me. And I'm going to make the effort
Mhm.
to continue to prove myself until you can trust me.
Mhm.
And
And
that's
it's
not
it's
just
a
with Black people, it's biracial people, Hispanic people, it's everybody.
yeah,
Because
because
we go ahead.
I'm so happy. Like I'm saying, I'm so happy I'm having these conversations because I didn't know that because I had to talk to the Black community because it's like there's so much like, hey, we're scared that you are gonna turn against us. Like you
Hmm.
if you claim your identity and you're independent of us, you're gonna turn against us. I didn't know that was the same thing on the other side with white people
Right.
saying, oh, there's another group that's gonna hate us.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's the same thing. The same, like I said, we all do the same thing.
Yeah. And if you're told that
And
somebody's the
that's
boogeyman
crazy.
your whole life,
Mhm.
you're smart to say, you know what, maybe I'm not going to trust them until you can trust
Mhm.
them. And when those people
Right.
don't give you an opportunity to know them, of course you're going to feel
Mhm.
that way. And there's so much
Exactly.
damage between Black people and white people. I don't blame
Mhm.
Black people for feeling the way that they do. And I wouldn't
Exactly.
trust anybody that I was told my whole life is fucking devil, or that I've had bad
Mhm.
experiences with where I just didn't feel right. You didn't have to physically punch me in the face for me to feel like you punched me in the face. If your words and your actions put me on guard, I don't need to fuck with you. And so I get it. I don't
Mhm.
feel like Black people feel the way that they do for no damn reason. I just feel
Exactly.
like it's going to take them to see us for who we are as individuals
Mhm.
and make the judgment call per person before we can ever change this. And it's going to take white people making a huge fucking effort to prove that they're not what they think we are. And we don't have a
Mhm.
problem. And we do give a shit. And they got to give a shit because they don't give a shit right now. They're like, fuck it. Fuck it.
Mhm.
You hate me? Cool. Hate me. It's not going to change my
Mhm.
paycheck. I'm still going to have my house. I'm still going to buy my car. I'm still going to live my life. Fuck it. You
Mhm.
know? And
Right.
so that's what it's going to take, is that we all got to come together just a little bit and just enough. Don't give up your safety, but give up enough to see. Just deal with us individually. And if you
Mhm.
still don't like it, cool. But we got to deal
I
with each other
agree.
as individuals, period. And
I
if your
totally agree.
mom or your dad
Mhm.
was fucked up to you, that's not every person. It's not
Mhm.
every person. I get it. Biracials are in a tough fucking spot, man.
Mhm.
I get it. But there's a better way. You can't love or hate either side of yourself more. You just got to love yourself and accept the fact that just because I'm white and you have a white dad, I'm not your dad. And if you
Mhm.
have a Black mom,
Exactly.
not every Black woman is your mom. So
No.
you
Mhm.
just have to love who you are, be proud of who
Mhm.
you are, know that you can make a difference, and try to do that individually with your children, in your day to day, and the people you know, and keep it pushing. Keep it pushing,
Mhm.
because you are not just a biracial woman. You are a
Mhm.
mother, a daughter, you're a human being, and you're fucking American. So you better get
Period.
used to the fact that this is where we are and this is who we are, and we need to try to do better for each other and
Mhm.
ourselves, because you got babies growing up in this world, and someday you're going to have a grandbaby in this world, and you're going to want better for them.
Mhm. I totally agree with you. Everything you said is 100% on point, and it's
So,
like, yeah, because like I said, I was raised in a white community and I got to know people on individual. I know there's a lot of great people. And then when I go to a
mhm.
black community, it's like all they're doing is like, I just hate white people all the time. And it's like, you guys don't know each other. How are you gonna you guys
We
really don't know each
don't.
other?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the issue. Like if you don't know somebody, it'll change your whole perspective once
Yeah.
you get to know somebody who's different from you. And it'll like, oh, you're not like how it's so important that people just know each other. Those conversations, that
Yeah.
communication is so important. It's like we are still very segregated in America to
Yes.
this day. We are.
Yes.
We very much
Self
are. And mhm,
segregated. We self
it's a self
segregate
segregate.
ourselves, yet we're saying it's the
It's a self
system.
segregate.
It's like, no, bitch,
It's a
that's not
self
the system. We're doing that because of comfort, because we
comfort.
feel more comfortable doing this. This isn't the
Mhm.
system. We're doing this to ourselves. And it's
We
okay if
are.
we want to do it because we need to feel comfortable, but don't call it a system when it's something
Mhm.
we're doing to ourselves and to each other.
Mhm. It
We
is.
have
It
to
is a
own our own
comfortability.
shit. Don't be mad at
Mhm.
me because you think I'm a racist when you're a fucking racist too. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Not you in
exactly.
general, but you
No,
hate
I
me
know what you
because you
mean.
think I'm a racist. But yet
But you're
I
racist
know how
too.
you talk in your kitchen with other black people because I've been there. I hear it and they're like, "Oh girl, not you though."
Exactly.
You know, I get it and it's okay. But don't be mad
Hmm.
at me because you think I'm a racist when we both
Would
know
be
you're
it's
a racist.
hypocritical.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's
So
absolutely hypocritical.
it
Yeah, I
is.
totally agree with you.
You don't
You got to
want
keep the
hate?
same
Don't
energy.
hate. Don't hate. You
Exactly.
know what
That's what
I'm
it boils
saying?
down to.
You're
Yeah.
not a victim if you're
Hmm.
perpetrating it.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
So,
You got to keep the same energy. You got to keep the same
mhm,
energy for
mhm.
it. You know, you got to. You got to. And racism is bad all across the
Ah,
board, no matter who it's
period.
towards. No matter who it's towards. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't. I don't. I don't like. I've offended white people at one time because I felt bad. I was like, no, this is going on too much. Like it's too much.
Yeah.
It's like no, this is just gonna cause like when you said it's gonna cause a reaction of just like a bunch of angry white people just snapping and going.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's what it's. People could only take so much shit. People could only take so much shit
And
before they
that's what they
snap. You
want.
know, and
That's
that's
what they
exactly
want.
what
They
they
want
want.
to
I've seen it
provoke the
happening.
ignorance in
I've
ignorant
seen
white
that.
people.
And then
And
here we
when
go.
I
Here comes the KKK again. You
Yeah,
know,
when I
it's
started
like,
seeing white people by the droves in my neighborhood moving gun safes and shit into their house and like stocking up in their basement and food and shit, I'm like, I was getting worried. I
hmm
was like, white people are freaking the fuck out. Now, don't get me
hmm
wrong. I love having a gun. I love protecting my home. I will fight to the
hmm
death. But I'm not like stockpiling for the end of fucking days because we're going to have a
oh,
big
the preppers.
revolutionary war of races. I mean, we're
Damn.
beyond this now. Like, how do we
Yeah.
know who's what race now? We're so blended. But yeah, when I
Right.
started seeing white people freaking out like that, I was worried. I was like, oh shit. Oh
They doing
shit.
all that.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
and I was just like, this is getting crazy. I even did a video about it. I'm like, you guys, this has to stop. We have to chill. Like, it's getting crazy. White
They
people
want a
are
race war.
starting to act different now. Yeah, I was like,
Hmm
shit's starting to get weird. It's calmed down now, and you start to see like things are going back to normal. But at the
hmm
height of all this, defunding the police shit and white people are the devil and da 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 da, white people were starting to get real trigger happy. It was getting weird. It
Damn.
was
That's
getting weird.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
And
so
and
crazy.
yeah, and so I don't know. I just think, and like my husband would say something in the store, and all of a sudden, like white person standing next to us. Yeah, I know, right? He wasn't really saying it
Mm-hmm.
generalizing about race, but they would take it
Mm-hmm.
that way. And white people were finally like chiming in, like we were in like a secret group. They're like, I know, right? For real, like it's a problem, right? My husband's like, wait a minute, you misunderstood. That's not cool.
Wow.
I have black nieces and nephews, bro. I'm not on your side.
Wow. That's crazy.
Isabella, what's her question?
She
Oh,
wants
let me
clarification on
see.
something you said
What did I say? Well, tell her to
about
ask.
races. White
Let me
Okay,
people
see.
only
ask
be
Press
her.
racist.
begin.
Can't you see it?
No, I
What do you
can't see
mean, Jay?
nothing.
Sorry, let me do you see anything? Hold on.
What do
It's
you
on the
mean,
screen.
Jane? About what,
Let me
honey?
see. Let me see. It says
Okay,
anybody
read it,
can be
baby. And
racist.
saying the white people are the only ones
Hmm.
who are racist.
Says anybody could be racist. Just saying that white people are the only ones who are racist is stupid and most of the
Mm-hmm.
acting I ever heard.
I agree.
No, I didn't
I
say only white people can be racist, honey. I said
no, she didn't say that. Anybody could be.
those
Those
people's
people call me Becky or whatever.
say in American and white people around the world just because are white. But okay, so I'm assuming Isabella that you're white.
She's Spanish. She's from Spain.
Oh. So was
Hmm
she really mad that people were calling her white?
Yeah, like you just said that earlier when you're like
Yeah,
they don't want it.
don't even mess with people about being white. No, baby, I like the whole Becky thing. I've never been called a Karen other than people in my family. But people of color will call me Becky. And my
Becky.
husband thought that I'd be offended by that, so he started calling me Betty. And I don't
Oh.
I'm never offended by any of that. And I think it makes people angry that I don't get upset for being called Karen or Becky because I'm just like,
hmm
I just laugh it off. but it is racist. It is fucked up. It's not right to say. And it's the same thing because I could never, and I would never walk up to a black woman or a biracial woman and call her a LaQuisha or a what are the other names? I don't even know. But I would
Keisha.
never. I would never.
Yeah.
Now I'll
No.
call you a fucking bitch, but I would
Mhm.
never walk up to a woman that I'm fighting with, whether she is what color she is, and call her something based off of her race that's demeaning based off of that. Because
Yeah.
I'm smarter than that. I can come up with more creative things to get under your skin or upset you. But
Mhm.
I'm not insecure enough or ignorant enough to think that that's all I've got in my arsenal of dogs on you. Whereas most
Mhm.
people will immediately call you a Karen or a Becky or whatever. And if you don't get mad, they get even more upset with you, that
I
you're
think
not
there's
upset.
power in that.
It
There's
is,
power
there
in that, and not
is.
getting upset by what people try to they want to
Yes.
make you upset about who you are, like,
Right.
oh, but there's a power in not getting upset about it. So
Right.
I think
But
that's good.
then you're even more privileged because you don't have to be upset
You
by
don't
that. And
have
it's
to
like,
be.
no,
Nobody have to be. Nobody
I
have to be.
choose not to be upset by that. If
Mhm.
somebody calls me a white bitch and tells me it's none of my business and I don't have the right to talk about certain things, I ask them why. Why don't I?
Mhm.
I live here too. Anything you do
Mhm.
affects me because I live in
Mhm.
the same country as you. You get a cold, I'm going
Right.
to get a cold. It'll eventually make its
Mhm.
way to me. If you suck,
Exactly.
it's going to suck for me. We
Yeah,
all live
facts.
here together. And I'm like, so I'll
Mhm.
talk about whatever I want. You don't have the right to tell me otherwise. But that
Mhm.
you can be racist of all colors. Anybody can be racist, not just white people. That's not a thing. They will make you believe, no, I wasn't saying that in the my I don't have my glass that way. I was saying it in a respectful way. I didn't think you were.
I'm
Yes.
European and white and
Oh.
Spanish. When I
When
was
I was
younger.
younger at my school, would call me Becky. Even did it
God,
bother
they
you
will
to be
call
called a
me.
Becky? Was that upsetting?
Oh, hold on.
Isabella, was it upsetting? Does that bother you when people call you that, or are you just like whatever?
So, how do you feel about dropping a link and letting people up here? Cause I'm loving our
Yeah,
combo. You wanna drop the
yeah,
link? Okay,
yeah.
I'll
Drop a
drop the
link.
link.
Let's get
As long
people
as people
involved.
are respectful,
Yeah,
cause I don't do the whole people coming up here talking crazy. I don't do all that. Okay. If anybody want to come up here, you all could come up here. I don't. We've been going for a long time. I'm sorry. I
mm,
just got kind of, but
no,
I
it's
think it was a
okay.
good conversation.
I
If you're
love
not,
these conversations.
me too. I really enjoy them very much. So if anybody want to come up here, I dropped a link. We're like 2 hours in, I think, at this point, but still,
Yeah.
but
When did we start?
I think we started.
Yeah. No,
It flew by. I didn't realize
yeah,
that it flew
yeah.
by. It's crazy,
How long have we
but
been going? 2 hours?
I think 2 hours.
Yeah. No, it's fine. But
It's cool.
yeah,
Okay,
no,
I might end it soon. Yeah,
I
but
think
go
that
ahead.
race, here's the thing. Racism doesn't hurt you unless it bothers you.
Yeah.
Somebody acting ignorant and being fucking stupid is not going to affect you unless it bothers you. And I don't know how to not feel something about it as somebody. I really didn't care at the first, but people started getting more racist and I couldn't. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I grew up thinking that I was Hispanic for a very long time because my mother was adopted. And because I was a light skinned child in a Hispanic family, my grandmother was here illegally. And so my grandmother was very, very Hispanic. And so my family talked shit, we were widows and wedas, and we lived in predominantly Hispanic neighborhoods. I was born in Pueblo, Colorado, which is very, very Hispanic. And when we moved here to Denver, in the beginning, we moved to off of Colfax and I-25 in the projects where it was Hispanic and Black predominantly. We were like the only white people in the neighborhood. And my brothers and I were beat all the time. Beat, stomped the fuck out for being white. And it wasn't our perception that we were white. And that's why they would tell us, you white fuckers need to get out of our neighborhood. And just stomp and we would only go to Sunday school
Damn.
because they had orange slices and the good cheese there for lunch. And we didn't want to give that up, but we would get our asses beat. We'd have to run home, run to, just to go to Sunday school. And so for me, it's like and then I found out I wasn't Hispanic, and it made perfect sense for why they treated me the way that they did, because I was different and they knew I was different. They knew that somehow I wasn't what I wasn't, like them. And they were my family. And so I get it. And I don't know how to explain how to not give a shit, but racism can only hurt you these days. Racism back in the day, it was bigger than just words. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part now, racism only affects you if it bothers you. And I don't think it has anything to do with Black people or biracial people or Hispanic people giving a shit what that redneck, ignorant white person thinks. It's what they think about themselves. And this history has made them feel some kind of way, like they have to feel some kind of way about their history here and who they are here, that goes way beyond their accomplishments, way beyond their unique beautifulness. You know what I'm saying? That we take on this social damage, and we allow ignorant people to say stupid shit to us, and it affects us in a way that will debilitate us or hold us back. Like,
I love what you said.
right, I
Go
fucking
ahead.
hate
Yeah.
cops. I hate cops. I've had issues with cops long before I was a criminal. I had issues with cops when I was a criminal, and I'm not a criminal anymore, and I still fucking hate cops. And if a cop looked at me and called me a name or said something fucked up to me, even while they were beating me, they said fucked up shit to me. I didn't care. It didn't matter, because to me, they were pigs. To me, they were low, and it didn't matter. You can beat me. You can take me to jail. You've got the upper hand on me. I will have to fight this in court, and I'm probably going to lose. But at the end of the day, you're not going to break my spirit. You're not going to take me down in the sense that you won't own me. I will walk away from this just fine. Now, there are people of color that don't walk away from it, and that is a problem, and whatever. But the everyday Black man or woman or biracial person doesn't experience that on the day to day. And you have to own your personal sense of pride and dignity. And it doesn't fucking matter what anybody says about you or says to you or says about people who look like you. And you have to just know who you are and accept the fact that you don't have to give a fuck. They don't hold any water in your world. And
Here's what I'm thinking. So I love what you're saying. I do think in this day and age, we do try to see like, oh, racism, back in the day you would get killed over it. You didn't have your whole family and all that. But now the worst that could happen is what? You're denied a job. There's plenty of other jobs. You can go to any other job. You get denied like a home loan. There's plenty of other banks out there. Go to another bank. What else?
Yeah. I mean, think about
yeah.
it. Like, okay, so I get the police thing is a problem, but I don't think people understand that is a class problem. Because when I was growing up
it's
poor,
about money.
when I was growing up poor, they were fucking circling in our neighborhood nonstop, waiting for us as teenagers to fucking shit wrong, and they were on us. Yeah, they were
it's about
on
you
us.
not being able to afford a lawyer, so you can't really do anything. That's all
right.
it's about. It's about
Now,
money. It's about money.
and you know what? Everybody's like, well, you don't have to teach your kids to do this, that, and the third, or they're gonna die. Oh no, I taught my kids that because I've been beat by cops. I was a 98-pound, 4'11" young woman and was handcuffed to the fucking handle of a car and beat down by grown men. And there was not a damn thing I could do about it. And then they took me to Denver City Holding, held me there for 10 days, didn't charge me with shit, let me out at
Mhm.
midnight barefooted and cut off fucking shorts and said, see ya. And never held,
Mm.
nothing was ever done about it.
Mhm.
And it just was what it was. So
It
I
is a
get
class
it.
issue, man.
And I
It
never
is.
once talk back to them. I always, yes, sir, no, sir. I know that they're in the position of power. When you see people on these videos talking to cops however they want to, provoking them, acting like they're in charge, you're like, oh, you're gonna get it. They're gonna give it to you. Because they'll give it to you even if you are yes, sir, and a no, sir. They are in the position of power. They have a gun on their belt. Shut the
Mm.
fuck up. Do what you got to do. And if they've done something wrong, you can have their ass. But
Exactly.
don't provoke them. It doesn't matter what you look like. They will kill
It
you and
doesn't.
they
They'll
can.
kill you. Yep.
And
I
that's,
agree.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They have the power and they will. And it doesn't
Mhm.
matter what color your skin are. They are equal opportunists. They're assholes. They will fuck
Mhm.
with you if they think they can. And
Yep.
when they see
Yep.
underprivileged people, period, they will, because who's going to believe you over them?
Exactly.
And it doesn't
Mhm.
matter the color of your skin,
I
period.
agree. And
That
I
is a
love what you
very
said about it's a class issue.
It is. It is.
I love what you said because this is what people need to realize because people are so worried about race, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you could be too broke. You could be white. I could be black. And people are oppressing your whole class. It's not
Yeah.
about just oppressing this certain people because they're black and you're. It's about the whole class because y'all are
Mm-hmm.
all working for me, and you
Yep.
guys need to stay at the bottom so I can have people working at McDonald's and doing all this stuff. So I at the top is reaping all the benefits, and that's what it's really about. It's about you two. I don't want you two people of the same class coming together and building something
Yeah.
and then you guys are no longer on the bottom class. You guys are
That's
no
right.
longer my
Yeah.
little minions working for me and making
Uh,
me money while
yeah.
you're making
Yeah.
what $15 an hour, barely scraping by, barely being able
Mm-hmm.
to afford anything, while I have millions and billions and millions of dollars. Like for
Yeah.
the next 20 generations, while you barely could afford gas for
Yeah.
like you know what I'm saying. That's what
Yep.
it's about.
It's
That's
keeping us
that's what
in
it's
our
about.
place. It's keeping
It
us
that's
in
what
our
it's
place.
about.
And if they
Hmm.
keep us segregated and they keep
Yeah,
us thinking, well, they got it
you guys
better,
don't
they
realize
got it
you
better,
guys are the
you're
same
not going to
category.
realize
Hmm.
that they're the ones doing it to us. They're the ones making these laws. They're the ones, you don't care that they're fucking with me and my kids too, because you're worried about them fucking with your kids and they've got you convinced that I've got it better and I'm convinced you got it better. And so fuck it. We're not going to
Exactly.
talk and it's a problem. What do
Yeah,
you
and
think
something
about
to
Hispanics
talk
should
about. Go
say
ahead.
they're white since you were raised in that kind of culture? What do I think about them not saying they're white? I don't think they're white. I would never. I was fucking with my aunts, telling them that the world thinks they're white now just because I wanted to see their reaction. I don't think they're white. Like my husband is white. He's German and French. So to me, that's a white person. I think German and French people are white. I don't think that Spanish people or Hispanics or Italians, Greeks,
English.
um, English people are white. Well, not really, because there's some Black and Hispanic English people. I just think that there are certain nationalities that are just inherently white, but I don't think Hispanics at all are white. Like I said, and is Spain have a lot of white people? I think Spain is more Hispanic people, right? But I'm learning that those are white
Spain
people
is like
too.
European.
Are
They're
they
mixed too.
European?
Yeah, because there's a difference. We talk about this. We talk about this in our spaces a lot. There,
We
you
have
could be like biracial
Spaniards.
people. You could be culturally black.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a
there's
difference between like
Spaniards.
culturally how you identify, and then
Hmm.
yeah, they're European. Yeah,
I
but you
think
can culturally
anybody
identify
that
as that, but you
has,
could be racially something else.
here's a very ignorant way of putting it, but this is my simple way of putting it. I think anybody that has good
Hmm.
food, style,
Uh huh.
and can
Yeah.
dance is not white. If you have flavor,
Damn.
you're not white. That's it. If you put
Damn.
spices in your
See,
food, you're not white. If you don't
that's
use
that's
mayonnaise in most of your shit, you're not white.
Damn, that's fucked up. Yeah.
I mean, my husband has taken me to German restaurants to eat. Mm,
What they eat?
mm.
No,
That's
it's not.
no,
It's
not
horrible.
good. It's so bad,
Damn.
so bad, and he loves it. And I'm like, "Yep, you're Caucasian, bro.
Was it
You're right.
sauerkraut or something?
Yep,
Sour.
yep." And weird meats. It's just not good,
No
not
way.
good. Or like, have you had English food, like the blood
Oh.
sausages and things, or is that Scottish
Mm-mm.
or Irish? What is
That's
the
that's
blood
I think that's
sausages? Or have
I
you
ain't
had
going for that.
shepherd's
You know
pie?
what looks good? Shepherd's pie actually looks good. I seen somebody make it.
It's
I was like,
not.
it's
It's
not good.
so
Oh, I've never had
it's
it.
basically shit on a shingle.
Damn.
That's what I got.
Europeans
It's
gotta
like
step it up.
shit on a shingle. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But that's what I
Damn.
think makes white people is their food, plaid.
White card was rejected.
So yeah, no, I
Damn.
mean white. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's like, I'm thinking that that's a white thing, is just their food, and
Damn, man.
plaid is definitely a thing.
What
Like, it's
what is
got it.
the best positive thing that you think about? Because there has
About
to be
white
two
people.
sides. Yeah, what do you think is the most positive thing you
Oh,
think about white people? I'll say what I think is positive. I
hmm,
liked how they had ability to self-correct. They're like, "Hey, what we're doing is wrong." Because, like, as we all know, slavery still happens to this day in other countries. But white people in America were like, "No, this is wrong. Let's put an end to
right,
this," and we did.
right,
And then, even when Jim Crow came after that, that came to an end. And
true,
we keep trying to self-correct. So I think
right.
the white people should
I
definitely get more
think
credit for that.
I
I
think
think so.
white people are. What, babe? What do you think? Help me with this, because I oh,
You
what do
gotta
you
have
think?
something positive. We all
Yeah,
got
like,
someone to
I
know.
love. Don't get me wrong. I love white men. I think white men are amazing. White women,
Mhm.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I really have a problem. Like, I've had the worst experiences in my life over and over and over with white women.
Mhm.
It's
It be your
just
own.
so
It be your
hard.
own people. It be your own people. That's
Yeah,
how it
like,
be.
it's just like, I don't get it. I'm just like, I don't get how your mind works. It's freaky to me.
Mm.
What
Damn.
what do you think is a positive about white people, babe? What do you think? Like, one positive thing that we feel about white people.
And positive thing.
Yeah, like, what's a positive, like, we could think of 50 for other
We
cultures.
evolve.
You evolve fast?
I think so. I don't
You
know.
guys
I
do.
don't know
You
what
like
Yeah.
self-correct.
it is. I mean, we got
Yeah, that's what she
every
said too,
culture,
like,
man.
self-correcting.
We self-correct. We
Uh-huh.
evolve.
I think that's good. I like how
So
smart.
we
Uh-huh.
move on.
I think because we
And
don't.
with
Who?
biracial unity, we
Wait.
dominate the world.
It's only because we have the numbers, bro. It's not that we're special or have anything more than anybody else. And you know why? You know why? You know why? Because white people don't.
give white people a vote.
Right. But I think that it's because white people don't move as a community. I think that that's why
Right.
they
They're
have the
individuals.
upper
Like,
hand,
uh-huh.
because we don't worry about a community of white people. We just keep it pushing. We keep it
Uh-huh.
pushing. We try not to take things personally. We try not to get offended. If it doesn't affect us, it doesn't apply to us. And we just try to keep it
Mm,
moving. And I think that
interesting.
I don't know if that's a positive thing. But I think that
Mm,
that's something that I am grateful. As much as I love the fact that the Hispanic community bands together, the Black community has that sense of community, and I'm envious of it
mhm,
in a sense, because it's like, no matter how hard life could get, it would feel so good to know that I would identify with somebody in a room that's not my family, and know that to some degree they've got my back. I think that would feel really
mhm,
good. I also
mhm,
feel very fortunate to not have that responsibility and to just worry about
mm,
me and mine at times. And I don't have
mhm,
to look back and worry about the neighbor because I got my own and he's going to get his own and fuck it.
Mhm.
So
I
I
think
don't,
that white people, I think you guys should build that though, honestly, because that's why
we
you said.
don't
Remember how
like
you were
each
saying.
other.
No,
That's
but
the
remember how you were
problem.
saying earlier? That's the no. You guys, I feel like because we deal with that in our communities. It's like a lot of
Mhm.
infighting. A black community deals with a lot of infighting. Everybody infights, but I do think white people should build that because, like you said, it's like you guys
That's
don't
when
have that
things go bad,
outward.
honey. No, we don't need that.
No, but
That's
you
when
guys
shit
don't have
goes
that
bad.
outward. Oh, when you guys do come together, and it's like, but it don't have to be a negative. You guys did it. You
Right.
guys came together in a
Yeah.
really negative way. It was
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
black people. We
Yeah.
don't want to, but you guys could
It
come
was
together
against
out of a place.
everybody. Look what they did to Native Americans. Look what they did to the Asians. Look what they
Exactly.
did. I
Exactly.
mean, it's a bad thing.
It's a
Community
bad
can be a
thing.
beautiful thing, and community can be a very bad thing.
As we've only seen like negative examples
Hmm.
of when white
Right.
people come together. That's the
Right.
issue. That's
But
why
when
it's
we
so hard
but
to
when
be
we
proud
fight
to be,
together, look at what we've accomplished. Women as a whole. Look at what we
yeah.
accomplished. And white women couldn't have done it without other races of women. Other
Exactly.
races of women couldn't have done it without white women. We had to
Exactly.
come together as women and say, we want to own property. We want to be able to
Hmm.
vote. We want to be able to go to work. You know, it took
Hmm.
all of us as a collective to do that. You know what I'm
Why
saying?
y'all? Yeah, I was
But
good being at home chilling. No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
this whole equality thing has really fucked up my situation because I'd like to be something
Shit.
different. Yeah.
No, it was just an Ali Wong joke. She's like, they fucked it up for us.
Yeah.
We had it so good. No, but
She's
it was
right.
a
She's
joke.
right. Think about it, girl. Think about it. Our kids were better. We were better. I mean, we need to have a little bit of
Shit.
everything. But yeah,
Okay.
no. But at the end of the day, I think that we as white people don't identify with each other. We all have our own thing. Like I'm Italian, he's
Yeah.
German, da 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 da. So we don't identify with each other. So it's hard to have that sense of community. Number one. Number two,
Yeah.
we just we don't like each other.
It's
We
so fucked
don't
up, person.
prefer company with each other. Now there's some white people that only hang out with white people. They don't know any other colors.
Mhm.
And it's just because it's a safe place. But at the end of the day, that's not the majority of white people. The majority of white women don't like other white women. I mean, my husband
Oh.
gets so mad at me, and I'm like, dude, this is a white woman thing. We don't like each other. We only get together because our husbands get together. We don't have that sense of camaraderie and loyalty to each other. It's not a thing. We don't like each other.
And it's
It,
just like, it's so weird being in the middle of all this because it's like,
uh
oh, you
huh.
got one hand, you got a
Yeah.
group of community. Yeah, they are individualistic. They don't really identify with each other. There's
Mm-mm.
no real sense of culture there because they don't identify with
We
each
don't
other.
share culture.
And then they don't share a culture exactly. And it's like so weird and vague. And it's like, but on the other
Yeah.
hand, you got like a sense of, but it's so like skin color based, right? Because in the
Yeah.
black community, there's like light skin versus like people
Yeah.
want to be around people who they they share a skin color with so
Right.
bad, and it's like so it's like so weird to be in the
Yeah.
middle of all of it and just kind of being on the outside looking in on both communities and being like this is why we need our own shit though, because it's like I
Yes.
don't feel like I can identify with it because I do
No.
want to come together like with other I want to be able to have that sense of like identify with you, but I don't know. I'm sorry. Like I didn't even. Yeah, you're right. Like okay, let's all not come to what's okay. But I do want to like just have my own like because we do have our own experience, but I do think
Yeah.
that's why we do need to build our own like our
Yeah.
own way
And you
of
can
living
have
because it's like
you can have
mhm
whatever you want. If biracials
mhm
feel like they want their own community and they need that community and they need that representation and it feels better to be around people that look like them, I get that. I get that. I personally, I guess I'm lazy. I just don't want that responsibility. I find it very
right.
difficult to deal
It
with the
is.
responsibilities that I have right now about just giving a shit
Mhm,
about the people I care about and the people in my space.
mhm,
I couldn't imagine having that kind of pressure. And like I told
right.
you, white people will buy whatever no matter who's selling it. If we like it, we
Right.
like it, and
Exactly.
we're gonna do it. But at the end of the day, if you have to see people that look like you partaking in certain things for you to buy in and want to be a part of that, I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
And you should have that.
Mhm.
It's just not a white person thing. And
Yeah.
and I
Right.
think
We
that
gotta. That's the. Mhm.
I think it's
Sorry. Go ahead.
perceived that it is. I think it's perceived that white people only want whiteness. White people only give, and we just don't. And it may be even more bothersome that we don't, because it's like, fuck, here we have been thinking all
And
along they're
then,
focused, and it's like, and we're
yeah,
like,
it's
we're
true.
just not. We don't care. I mean, a beautiful black woman could be
Right.
wearing a pair of jeans, and I am not going to fill them out like her. I'm not going to look like that. But I'll tell you what, I'll buy them because she
It's
looks good in them.
true. It don't make sense because it's like people say, "Oh, they only care about whiteness." Because I feel like people do project a lot of their mindsets on you. So this is
Yeah.
how, but and at the same time, you guys get accused of like cultural appropriation when
Yeah.
it's like when you do want to
Well,
participate and learn about it. It's
it's
crazy. I don't
it's
know.
so that offended
Mm,
me. That offended me because
it's weird.
I kept getting told that black women do their hair a certain way and do certain things because society did that to them. But then I'm like, well, I love afros, I love braids, I think black women are beautiful, and I like this about them, and I like that about them, and I think this is cool. They were like, oh, you're sick. Why are you fetishizing us? And why are you? That is disgusting. And I'm just like, okay, so am I supposed to hate it? Am I supposed to
Isn't
not
that
like it?
crazy?
I'm just not supposed to say nothing. But then if I don't admire you, or I don't tell you when I think you're like, then I'm just ignoring you and I hate you. So it's like you don't know what to
Mm,
say. It's like, am I using you? Am I hating you? Or am I loving you secretly? Is it a weird thing? Who the fuck knows? So then I'm just like, fuck it. Fuck it then. Like, it's just what it is.
mhm,
You can't do nothing
mhm,
right, because anytime you say something, it's
mhm.
always going to be perceived a different way, and they'll
Yep.
come back with something else. And that's not just black people. That everybody is going to do that if they don't want to
Nobody's
have a
happy.
relationship with you.
Exactly.
They're just telling
Mhm,
you, I don't want you to do shit for me. I don't want you in my
mhm.
space. It has
That
nothing to do.
happens to us, man. I'm telling you,
Yes,
that happens to us as biracial people because we're like, hey, we identify as black, and they'd be like, oh no, 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 you're not black, and then we're like, hey, we identify as biracial. No, 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 you're black. It's like
yeah,
it's like no matter what we say, there's gonna be somebody trying to fight against it and be
that's
like,
right.
no, you're not this, you're not this, and it's like, but like you said,
Yeah,
like that makes sense what you say. They said they don't really want to have a relationship with you. They just want to. It's like a
yeah,
control. I don't know. I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah. It's
They're
not.
never
Yeah.
going to be
So
happy. You can never win.
no.
And it's because it has nothing to do with that. They don't want to have you in their space. They don't want to have a
Hmm.
relationship with you. and
Right.
and I still can't even bring up hair. I cannot even bring up hair because it turns into a war,
Mm, it's
even
a
with the
trigger.
women in
Yeah.
my, yeah. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I've tried very hard to have the conversation so I would understand, and it's just come
Mhm.
down to the fact that it's just not a topic. It's not a topic.
I
And so
I know what
nobody's
it
going to
is.
stop wearing braids. Nobody's going to stop appropriating anything. It's actually going to get worse because we can't even have the conversation. And so no one's
It's
going to respect it if they don't know. Period. And
I know what it is.
yeah, I'm
I
sure.
know what it is.
I'm
No,
sure.
this is what it is. I'll tell you. It's coming from within the community. Once
Yeah.
again, it's coming from the men in the
I
community.
think it's black men and how
I think
they've
it is.
dealt with the hair
Yeah,
situation. That and
that's what it
black
is
women
to
are
me.
being made to believe that the world sees them through that lens,
Exactly.
not just the
Exactly.
men who
It's
are saying it.
that.
And it's
That's
like,
true.
no, we love your hair. We love
Mhm.
your, I mean, their natural hair. I think it's cool as fuck.
Exactly.
I literally
Mhm.
will watch with black women getting their hair braided and stuff, like, to relax. I just love to
Or that
watch
little
it.
ASMR. Like
Yeah,
that's
when they're
cool.
like,
Yeah.
they'll do whole videos where they're braiding a girl's hair all the way through, or they'll
Mhm.
go through and they'll put all the products and stuff in. And I don't know how it showed up. I'm assuming because of my channel, it showed up on my videos. recommended. And I started watching it, and it was one of the most relaxing things I've ever. I just sit there and I craft, or I'll hang out and I'll watch it because it's the most relaxing thing ever. And now I'm like, well, and I don't even want to say that on my channel because they'll be like, well, you're fetishizing. I'm like, no, I just think it's the coolest thing I've ever
Mhm,
seen. I love it. I absolutely love
mhm,
it. But, I don't understand it. But once again, I think it's something that they were told, and that they think, or they believe, or they were told that the world feels this way. And it's
mhm.
not, it couldn't
That's
be
such a good
further from,
point.
yep, couldn't be
That's
further
such
from
a
the
good
truth.
point. This is why
Couldn't
we
be
need
further.
your guys' perspective, because so many people try to speak for white people and be like, white
Yeah.
people think this, white people think that. They
And
do the same for biracial people.
white people let
Oh
them.
yeah, white people let them. That's why I've been inspired to make my space, because it's like so many people trying to tell us this is what biracial people think. They think this. They think that.
Hmm.
Cynthia G, one of them, she'll be like, they think this. They think this. They think
Yeah.
this. And it's like we gotta speak for ourselves. We gotta say, hey,
Yeah.
this is not what this is what we're really doing. Instead of people assuming
I
this is
didn't know I didn't know
and
anything
projecting their
about
mindset on me.
I didn't know anything about black women or the black women movement until Cynthia G put one of my videos on her videos.
I
And
remember,
it blew my
yeah.
mind. It blew my mind what these
Hmm.
women were saying and how big their community was. And I just started binging her and all these other women. And the more I watched it, and the
Hmm.
more I started to realize that the message just started to feel really, it started to get a little negative. And it wasn't that they were being negative towards
Very.
white women, because I'm cool with being negative towards white women. I do it all the time. But I
They are
started to
though a
watch
lot, but
during, yeah,
mm,
it gets rough and rowdy over there. But when I started to hear her talk to her own subscribers and saying certain things to her own subscribers and calling them names or whatever, I was like, wow,
mhm,
like this woman is so smart, and she could do a
mhm,
lot. I mean, she's got quite a powerful and knowledgeable group of women who are following her,
mhm,
and it could be really life changing. But
mhm,
with the moment I saw her down talking women who support her and love her, and them trying
mhm,
to explain themselves to her, and she wasn't having it, it got really bad for me. And then once I was turned on to the biracial situation, and I started watching videos of hers about that and other women's videos about that, it started to get really negative, and it hurt my feelings. I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, what I thought was so amazing and so powerful for black women and all of us, because if
mhm,
black women, I believe black women and biracial women and women of any color really can change a lot of what's happening here. um and
mhm.
then I saw it just take such a negative turn. It broke my heart. I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck. Once again,
Mhm.
this was like the hope, and
I
then
see
all
the
of a sudden.
whole divestment movement. Like I used to be, because before I was in biracial spaces, I never knew about a biracial space until like a couple years ago, right?
Mhm,
And I was in black women's spaces because I identified as black, so I'm be in black women's spaces. So I was there from the beginning of like how that whole movement started and how the
mhm,
conversations that were going on, and me just kind of, you know, being like, so it was interesting seeing it like develop into like what it is
yeah,
today, and it's just
it
like wow,
changed. It
it yeah,
changed.
yeah, you know, because she basically got all her talking points from this other woman, and then she was fighting with her
Mhm,
when they were fighting, and then it's like all of a sudden she took all her talking points and kind of just
mhm.
took the whole movement in a whole different, but not
Yeah.
really, but but I like it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like I think you have to heal in order to really see things
Mhm.
clearly, because she is smart, she is beautiful, she is like all of these things, but if you're in a hurt place, you're only
Yes.
gonna see things through a skewed lens,
Right.
So it's like you
Right.
have to heal in order to really be we're really truly be logical, in order to really truly be objective, to really truly see things and able to like really see things clearly. You have to heal. That's why healing is so important. Healing is like that's what I'm all about. These conversations are healing. People coming
Right.
together and actually sharing. Different. You're teaching me so much right now. We really, really are, and I'm really grateful for you,
Thank you.
and
I
I'm
think that
thankful for that.
if you're going to have the message that everything you're doing and what you're talking about is for the betterment of the women in your community, and it's
Mhm.
needed. And the initial
Mhm.
message that I was getting from her was mind blowing to me, because it was like, holy shit, Black women are
Mhm.
going to take the lead, be
Mhm.
accountable for their lives, their actions, their communities, their babies, and they're going to
Mhm.
make a change. Even though they don't
Mhm.
want to, they've decided they're done, and they're not going to
Mhm.
let anybody hold them back. And I was just like, holy shit, like this is mind blowing. And this is going to go, this is going to reach way further than just the Black community. This is going to
Mhm.
show other women in other groups that they can do
Very,
this as
very influential.
well. And this
Yep.
is going to show white men, especially, um
Mhm.
something different too. And I was there for it. I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I don't agree with
Mhm.
divesting completely and getting rid of any group of men, but making better choices financially and
Mhm.
responsibly for your babies, I'm down. Like, you want to
Yep.
pick the best stock possible to
Yeah,
make babies
exactly.
with, and you want to find a
Mhm.
man who's going to take care of his children regardless of his status with you. So I was
Mhm.
down for that, right? But then, when, like I said, if you're there for the women in your community, then no
Mhm.
matter what those women say, if they're there, they're supporters of yours and they're there to learn. Down
Mhm.
talking them and calling
Mm-mm.
them names, um, is not the betterment of your community. And it was hard.
Never.
It was hard to fucking watch. And when you
Mhm.
have biracial women in your community that have been following you, watching you, and then this whole biracial thing just spun off in that situation, and it just got so bad.
Mhm.
I
It
was
got
just like,
bad.
you are preaching to make biracial babies by divesting, but then you're
Mhm.
saying that biracial females
Mm.
are
Thank you.
stealing your space. But then
Thank
I
you.
heard that you want women to abort Black boys. So what babies are good? So biracial
Mhm.
females are 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 stealing your space and a threat to you, but Black
Mhm.
boys are a threat as well to you. So what are we only,
Mm.
we're only going to keep biracial boys? Is that? But then I hear that biracial boys don't get the respect of other men, they're considered feminine. So
Mhm. Crazy.
what babies that come out of your body are worthy of being your
Mhm.
babies then? Only Black
Mm. It's
females?
crazy.
But you're not supposed to be with Black men. So how are you going to have a Black female? I don't get it. I
Mhm.
started to get very confused, and I
It
started
is.
to
Yeah.
feel really bad for these women who believe and are in this, and they should be empowered by any strong woman that gives them a voice. But I
Mhm.
started to be like, okay, this is hateful, and it's disrespectful to the Black women that have questions or that say something that's not part of the narrative. And I had to shut it off. It was very,
Yeah, no,
it was
what
sad.
the main point I agree about with the whole like divestment and woman empowerment movement is go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Like
That's
that
right.
is the main thing I
Hmm.
totally respect. That totally go where you're celebrated. Don't take no disrespect from nobody. That's what I took from it, and I left the rest
Yeah.
because I'm not going into the whole, all that
Yep.
other stuff. It's not for me. That's not my issue. That's not what I'm not even gonna be a part of that. I kind of the whole gender war stuff in the Black.
Yeah.
I have to leave all of that alone. I'm like,
Yeah.
none of that got nothing to do with me. I
Yeah.
can't even. I can't. There's nothing we could do. There's nothing we could do with
Yeah.
that. So,
And
but
the thing
that's
is,
it.
I'm telling you, white men have never had a problem with Black women or dating or marrying Black women. Black
Mhm.
women are the ones that don't want to be with white men. And so the
Mhm.
narrative that white men don't want Black women or aren't attracted to Black women, that's not a thing.
I say go ahead and
So
date. Create all
yeah,
of them kids. Go
white men
ahead.
would totally give Black women a time of day and then some
I
if they were
uh-huh.
interested. That's not a thing. So
I say
that
go
was,
ahead.
yeah, but Black men were trying to convince white women that are Black men were trying to convince Black women that white men didn't want them. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, I know a
No.
lot of white men that love Black women. It's just Black women are not interested. They're just like, yeah, no,
Mhm.
I don't think so. Get out of here, Brad. But yeah,
It's
and now
cute.
that you see black women are finally giving white men a chance, I think it's awesome. I think it's
Me
amazing because
too. I'm here for it.
I think white men and black women are very compatible. I
Yeah, I
really
think
do.
so.
Just like
Mhm.
I think white women, a lot of white women and black men are very compatible.
Mhm.
I just think
I
they do.
agree.
And I don't
Yeah.
agree that it's a pathology. I just think
Mm,
that they're compatible. I mean,
yeah,
white men like
very much so.
strong women, assertive
Mhm.
women, good mothers, hardworking. White men dig that. And
Mhm.
that is the epitome of black women. They're
Mhm.
hardworking, strong. They can work and be mothers. They can do so many things. I mean, they can go and get educated while working and
Mhm.
raising their children. Not a lot of white women can do all of that. I mean, it's just not a thing.
Shit, I can't even do all that. I'm like,
Yeah, I see some
I
of
can't do all
this.
that.
I see some of this shit. Like I Troy was in here earlier, and I listened to her life and what she's accomplished and what she's done, and she carries herself with such grace and dignity and within her faith, and she's a mother and she's a wife and she's been in the military and she does so many things, and I'm just like, oh my god, if I could have been half of what she was at her age, and she just grew up in a home where she was taught so many different things that makes her a phenomenal woman, and she has a white, or
Mhm.
I think he's Hispanic husband, but
Mhm.
it's just like it's amazing to me what women
Yeah.
of color can do because they've had to, but also because of who they are. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
white men absolutely are missing out if they didn't see that
I'm here
because
for it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I that's my next conversation I want to have because I'm a daughter of a black woman, and it
Mhm.
hurts me that there's so much tension between biracial women and black women.
Mhm.
It hurts
Right.
me. It hurts me. And I would love, like, if one of your subscribers or somebody would love to
Mhm.
speak on the topic of trying to heal that tension and
Right.
divide between, biracial women
Mhm.
and black women, because it's
Yeah.
like there's so much there that needs to be just come together. Let's talk about it,
You
because we're
know,
we're saying it,
it
so
it
yeah.
blows my mind that there's so much damage between us different women, yet
Yeah, there
we
is.
have no shared experiences to
Mhm.
base that rift off of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
We do
saying?
have shared
We
experiences. We do. We
well,
do.
I'm just
It's
saying, like,
common. We have stuff in common,
black women
but
and
we're
white
different
women
too.
don't have a lot that we've interacted with each other. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? I
yeah, I
mean
see
that
what you're saying.
experience.
Uh-huh.
We
I see what
don't
you're saying.
blend our communities enough to justify
Uh-huh.
the rift between us. And we
Mhm.
put our biracial babies in a position of
Mm.
literally having to be in the middle and choose.
Ugh,
And so
it's
you've got
hard.
biracial women who are now being put in the middle of it, and they're
Mhm.
being told so much from both sides that it's like we'll never ever come together if we don't fucking get it together. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I mean,
Mhm.
black men, I don't get the whole black man Tom, because I know a lot of black men, and there are some shitty black men that do shitty things, my friends
Mhm.
included. But for the most part, none of them are all the same. None of them all
Mm-mm.
do anything like. I mean, they're. I just think that we all just need to deal with each other individually. Period.
Exactly. I
Period.
agree.
You got a shitty
Facts.
black man, he's a shitty fucking black man, and you should kick his ass to
Mhm.
the curb and never give him another time of day and move on to
Mhm.
another man. You know what I'm saying? But not all black men are
No, I don't
what
think so. I never
this narrative
no.
is.
Nah, nah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So,
And I think that we do have to deal with people individually and kind
mhm.
of just take it on an individual basis.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, I am really looking forward to I definitely would love
yeah,
to if anybody's watching that's one of your subscribers and you guys want to have
yeah,
that conversation, I would love for you guys to come on my platform. I'm just putting it out
yeah.
there. I'm going to welcome you on my platform. So how
I
can we
have
heal
some
that?
I have some very intelligent,
Yeah.
beautiful black women on my in my channel, in
I
my
would love for
comment
them
section.
to come up
I will
here and talk
see if
about it.
they will, because I'm telling you, they will put it down, but they do it in such a classy way you can't even get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of them will disagree with me, and I swear I'm like, I don't know if they just whooped my ass or if they're trying to educate me. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, oh shit. They're very smart. They're
Yes,
very classy, and I think
absolutely.
that it is a topic that needs to happen between Black women
It's
and biracial
biracial,
women. I can't
very much
even
so.
preach to them about trusting white women because I don't. In fact, there's
Mm-hmm.
been times when I've talked shit about white women and the Black women are like, chill the fuck out. Like, that's how bad I get.
Chill.
They're like, chill the fuck out. It's not that deep. Like, calm down. Like, maybe it's you. They do what my husband does. Maybe it's you. So, but yeah, I think it's
It's funny.
definitely a topic that
Mm-hmm.
biracial women and Black women should definitely, because that's where it starts. That's where it
Mm-hmm.
starts. You know what I'm
It needs
saying?
to happen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You don't have
So
to
I
be
would
the
love that.
same. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be,
Exactly.
but it doesn't have to be hate. It doesn't have to be. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be love. It just doesn't have to be hate, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I want to give props to my mom, who's a Black woman.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
best thing she did for me was she never taught me colorism. I don't feel like
Right.
I never hate nobody. Like, okay, what Cynthia G says about biracial women kind of blows my mind. How it's like, oh, they're taught that they're better than because they're light skinned by their
Hmm.
colors fathers and their mothers,
Yeah.
and they're taught that they're better than Black women, and they're taught that all these things. It's like the complete opposite experience, like, because I guess because I have, but it's just like mind blowing to me because I was never taught. And I was never taught to hate Black men, of course, or white women, just because I was never taught none of that. I was never taught to hate nobody. Like, my mom never taught me hate at all towards anybody or anything. So it did take me aback. Oh, you have 4 biracial daughters? Let me see. My mom is biracial. My dad is Black
Hmm.
American. These features having white dad. I didn't know there was so much pushback from Black presenting women being with white men. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
There is. It's
Yeah.
true. But like I was saying about
The
what
message
my
is
mom
so
taught me.
confusing. I get the
Mhm,
biracials not understand because it's so confusing and it's not even my like I you guys I get it. I empathize
mhm.
because I'm
Thank
telling
you.
you it's
It's
so
a lot.
confusing and it's a
It's a
lot.
lot. It's
And
a lot.
I
That's why we got to
do.
be so firm about in who we are.
Yeah, because
We got to
there's
be
so
really.
much mixed
Mhm,
messages and biracial
yes.
women. I couldn't imagine having to figure it all out as a biracial woman because
Yeah.
there's a lot of I don't know. It's
Just
just
taking it
it
day by day.
sucks. Yeah. And if you're light skinned, you're immediately like it's you guys are literally getting the white experience.
Mhm.
Because if you're light skinned, you think you're better. You think you're pretty.
Mhm.
Everybody thinks you're better than me. And
Mhm.
you're trying to fucking take me out.
Isn't that true? And then at the same time, we do have like the Black, where some people view us as Black, and they're like,
Yeah.
racist. We
Right.
get it on both
Right.
sides.
Right.
It's like,
But it's almost
mhm,
like you didn't have to do anything. You don't have to act a certain way like you're better than them. You didn't
mhm,
really experience the privilege that they're telling you
mhm,
got, but yet you're suffering the consequences of having privilege or feeling like you're better than them. And
mhm. Isn't it?
that's exactly what it feels like to be white.
That's crazy.
Is that
Dang, I ain't know.
you don't understand why you're privileged. You don't understand why they think you're better than them. You don't get the
Mhm,
whole supremacy thing and it's just put on
mhm,
you and they
mhm,
don't like you for whatever reason. They're constantly telling you you ain't shit and it's because of
mhm,
shit you supposedly do and feel and have and you don't
mhm,
feel you have it and you don't know how to make it stop. It's just it is
mhm.
what it is.
It's like you're judged so much by your
And
collective
you
versus you as
don't
an
know
individual.
why, right? You
Yeah.
don't know why.
Mhm,
You're like, I didn't walk into this space trying to be better than you. I don't feel I'm
mhm,
better than you. I'm not
mhm,
experiencing privilege. I'm actually feeling a lot worse than what you are because they treat me like an outcast. You don't. You treat me like an outcast. I don't belong
mhm,
anywhere. I haven't done none
mhm,
of this, but now I'm suffering the consequences of it.
mhm.
That's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like.
Crazy. Mm. It's tough.
It is.
It's
It's
tough.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's good
And
that I think we
eventually
should
you
all
just
just
give up.
validate each
Eventually
other.
you're like,
Yeah.
fuck it then. Fuck it then. I don't
Mhm.
care. I'm gonna make my own
Yeah.
thing because I don't want to fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to
That's where
hear
I'm
it.
at.
I don't want to do it. I don't have it. I don't have
Mhm.
this problem. It's not my problem. I'm just gonna make my
Mm.
own thing because I don't want to hear it anymore.
That's what that's
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 what's
what I
happening.
did.
Yeah, because you got
So
to.
that's the white people
Because what
shit.
can
That's
you
the
do?
white.
It's white people
Yeah.
shit. That's your white side, girl.
That's my white side. Okay. That's good to know.
I mean, we all have our own things. We all have our own things. It's like shit. We've all experienced stupid shit on all sides. I get it. I don't know,
Mhm.
but I think that that would be a great conversation to have. What
Mhm.
I'd really like to have is a full Black American woman who is
Mhm.
raising biracial children
I know
and a
exactly.
white
Good one.
woman who's raising biracial
That's a
children.
good convo.
Yes, and then a
Ooh.
child that is biracial and a white woman
Mhm.
who raises
That
white
was a
children.
good
Yes.
convo. You need to come back to my channel
Yeah.
sometime. We
Like
need to all have that convo.
we need to get that talking
Yes.
point and see how we are
Uh-huh.
as mothers and how that differs,
Uh-huh.
what we teach our kids, what we don't teach our kids,
Yeah.
and how we feel the world responds to us, and
Mhm.
why we feel the way that we do.
That'd be
And
great.
and we got to be as bold and as honest as we possibly can without anybody getting offended, and I bet we could
Exactly.
have, yeah, that
You
would
need
be
to come
cool.
back to my channel.
Yeah,
This
I will.
conversation was so
Yeah,
good.
I will.
And I'm so happy. And I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to our next conversation. You've given me so many ideas. And
yeah.
hopefully, you do live streams and stuff still? I want to come on your channel one
I've
day.
had a couple,
What's
but
up?
I will. I don't have a moderator, so it got a little crazy
Oh,
in my
yeah.
I
Live
mean,
streams are crazy. Yeah, usually they're
I had a
crazy.
live and we went on for
Hmm.
hours and it was such a good conversation and we had a ton of people
Hmm.
chime in and talk. It was great. A lot of men and a lot of women too, but men. I mean, my channel usually gets most of its views from men, and so
Uh-huh.
it added to the conversation because it wasn't just women on there, and it was great. But without not
Hmm.
having without having moderators, it got a little crazy. There was a guy that was putting nasty videos on and putting like weird shit on, and it got a little crazy in the end. But yeah, we will definitely do that. Definitely. And I think
I'm
we
looking
should
forward
get
to
some
it.
different all different kinds of women and what their experiences are, and we could kind of break it down and then get a lot of the
Hmm.
people in there to talk about it. But yeah,
Absolutely.
no,
Love this
definitely.
convo. It was so
Let's
good.
do it again. It was a good
Uh-huh.
conversation and I appreciate you
Hmm.
inviting me on, and hopefully
Of
people got something out
course.
of it.
Mhm. Yeah, and my main takeaway from this is like we need to focus on the now. Who are
Hmm.
we choosing to be in the moment right now? Like that's the most important thing. You can't do nothing about
That's
what
right.
you've done in the past, but right now is the most important thing. So I got my babies. They're
Yeah.
calling me.
All right, dear. Well, I will let's get off so you can raise your babies and I can get in the hot tub.
Okay, have fun in the hot tub. Cheers. Everybody have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for
Bye,
coming.
guys.
All right,
Good
bye.
night. Bye.